Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week, in the affluent town of Redding, Connecticut, a dispute over a relatively small amount of money leads to flames and death. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. We are excited to be here tonight. We're trying something. We're actually like broadcasting in the dark right now, which is a nice little weird murder thing.
Interesting.
Mainly because it's really hot in Arizona. It was like almost 120 degrees today, and we have to turn the AC off in our studio. And the overheads in the studio are hot. So here we are. But no, this is great. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a really, really wild, weird, different kind of show this week. It's not gross, but it's insane. It's a fun, crazy ride. And that ends in a lot of death. So no matter what you want, whether it's fun, whether it's death, we're going to have it for you this week.
Unless you want rape.
On Small Town Murder. Well, you don't know that, Jimmy, but I'll tell you ahead of time. There's no rape this week, so that's good for everybody.
I'm just taking cues from all your clues
and
there.
Probably half the people turn it off for some reason because people are weird. I don't know. Thank you, folks, for your iTunes reviews this week. Thank you. Really, they mean the world to us. They're the kind of the life's blood of a podcast. It's weird. It's not our fault. iTunes has a funky algorithm. It dances around. We have no control over it.
It's a lot of goddamn pressure.
It is a lot of pressure, and they want reviews, and reviews help us along so much. Help us get noticed. They really drive us up the charts. So if you have not done it yet, please go over to iTunes and give us 5 stars. It means the world to us.
Appreciate you.
Doesn't matter what you say, really. You can say anything you want. It's not for our ego. It is not for, anything like that. It's just for business purposes. So please, please do that. If you want to be an even bigger hero, that's very, very possible. And you're heroic if you're giving iTunes reviews, trust me. But if you want to be an even bigger hero, like one of our producers who we'll talk about later on, who we kind of worship the ground they walk on and they type on.
We wash their feet.
We will do that. You can do that very easily by going over to patreon.com/crimeinsports, which is the name of our other podcast, which I don't know why you're not listening to.
What is wrong with you?
I can't imagine. It's just like this, except there's an athlete, has nothing to do with sports, don't have to like sports. You just have to like us making fun of criminals, which I think you do if you're listening to this. So check out that show. Or you can go over to PayPal and make a one-time donation using our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. If you want to buy merch or find the links to all that stuff without having to type it in, just go to shutupandgivememurder.com and you can buy all the stuff and do whatever you want. There's upcoming tour information at a bunch of terrifyingly large venues that make us very, very uncomfortable. And we really hope you guys want to see live shows, because if not, you are going to hear some crickets. But never
Tell
mind
your
that.
friends, listen to this show, and
please
bring your friends out.
Yeah, we got to make a push here.
Don't make us look like assholes.
Please, God, if we show up and we look like jerks, it's not going to be good. So
I don't want to show up to a room that holds 800 and there's fucking 30 people there.
That's going to be terrible.
I want to show up to one bigger than that and even less.
That would be, it could happen. So just do that.
You guys begged for it, goddammit.
So
we booked it, so come to the fucking shows.
Please come to the shows.
When they go on sale.
We have to do the disclaimer at this point. Yeah, not now. Yeah. They're not on sale right now. So you're going to have to wait. But then when they do come on sale, then please listen to our directions at that point. Yeah. But we have to do the disclaimer at this point. This is a comedy podcast. That's the only thing we ever get is I don't like that they're making jokes. Right. People are never offended at the horrible content, ever. They're offended at the jokes. So this disclaimer is to tell you there's jokes. Be careful. Right. They might jump up at you.
Step on one.
He doesn't say you'll step on one. It'll come up and hit you in the face like a rake in a cartoon, like Foghorn Leghorn in a cartoon. So, that's all it is, though. It's we try our best. We go out of our way to not make jokes at the expense of the victims or of the victims' families because we're assholes. But we're not scumbags. That's kind of how we roll here.
And we warn you. I say, boy.
There's jokes, but honestly, it's not bad. That's the thing. It really isn't. Don't be scared away. But if you think that true crime and comedy should never, ever belong together, then I should tell you right now that there's the door, and it's the unsubscribe button, and you should probably hit it, or the pause or the dump or the delete. Whatever your thing is. If you don't think that a joke should ever be made ever for anything, even if you're making it at the expense of an idiot, a murderer, a sheriff who let a murderer go for 10 years or something like that, even if that's not okay with you, then you should take a hike. But for everybody else here, it's time. It's time, Jimmy. I know what you're saying. I know what everybody's saying. You're saying, shut up and give me murder.
That's the one.
So let's do it. Let's roll. Let's go on a trip, Jimmy. You ready to roll?
I like it.
You got all your shit or what? You packed up?
Let's roll.
All right, let's go. Let's do it. All right.
Started. I got the AC rolling, babe.
So
fire
that up.
Hot out there.
Did you run the car for 15 minutes first so it's not 340
I got
degrees?
a half a tank of gas trying to cool my car off.
That's what you do. You gas up, you go home, you warm the car up, you go back to the gas station. It's a terrible thing living in Arizona. We're going somewhere else. We're going out east this time. I promised you back to the Northeast this week, and we are going back to the Northeast all the way to Connecticut. We're going to Reading, Connecticut. Oh, very exciting there.
I've heard of the one in Pennsylvania.
Yes, there's several Readings. You've heard of the, I guess it's Reading, but it's still spelled like the Reading in Pennsylvania.
No, it's
not. Well, Pennsylvania Reading is reading, right? This is not. This is Red, R-E-D-D-I-N-G.
Well, Pennsylvania might be spelled like that.
I think it's the other way for some reason, though. We'll get tweets. Don't worry about it, okay? We'll figure it out before that, so save your tweets.
Don't dwell on it. We got time to learn.
So, we're not going to learn, Jimmy. No. One thing we do, we refuse to learn.
That's
so
true.
Don't even try to do that. No. It's in the southwestern part of the state. Okay. It has a prominent panhandle, Connecticut does. Oh, yeah. In the western part there. It's a chunky one sticking out there. And there is one county in that, the whole panhandle is one county. And that county is Fairfield County, where this town falls.
Oh, wonderful.
So this is a panhandle county in a kind of an affluent state, in a very affluent area.
Anytime I hear somebody's from Connecticut, I just go, oh, great, yeah, lots of button-ups in your fucking closet.
I just think that your roads are nice.
Yeah.
That's like, I just remember from New York, if you go on I-84, bumpy, smooth when you hit Connecticut. You're like, ooh, they must pay taxes here. This is nice. This is great. You can tell the states that pay taxes right away. It's like, ooh, Connecticut pays taxes. New York is shit.
Right.
Even though the taxes are high, still I don't think anyone's paying them because these roads suck.
Yeah.
If you go to Arkansas, there must be no taxes there. None.
I think
because you're basically off-roading when you go to Arkansas.
I think there's no sales tax there.
I guarantee there can't be anything because you might as well bring a dune buggy when you go through there and hook your shit up to that and just drag it because it's horrible.
It probably varies from county to county, but I'm pretty sure that there's no state sales tax.
Probably, I don't know. I know they have Florida has no income tax and Texas has some form of that. Whatever. This is in Fairfield County. It's about an hour and 50 minutes to New York City. Mm-hmm. So this is like some rich people who live in New York City or work in New York City and are big shit there will like have a mansion and that they live in.
They'll
here.
Drive 2 hours to get to that fucking thing.
Or be driven. Either one. About an hour and 15 to Hartford.
Oh my God, I've never thought of that before.
They're being driven by a car.
That would be fucking amazing.
That'd be great. You'd get all your shit done. You'd hang out.
Imagine being rich.
You know what? It's funny. You know what the shit part of that is, though? You know what I thought of? Because I can't put myself in that light. Mm-hmm. I thought of myself, I'd have an hour and 50 minutes uninterrupted in the back of the car to do research. That's what I thought. I was like, dude, I could be quiet back there. I could put the fucking glass thing up and nobody could bother me. I'd do tons of research. It'd be great.
I was just thinking about 4 hours sleep.
Yeah.
That would be great.
I'm thinking, ooh, yeah.
Do you ever sleep in a car? When I fall...
Yeah, it's wonderful.
It's the best sleep I ever get.
It rocks you. It's like a boat.
Great. Yeah.
It's like boat sleep.
Oh, God, that's awesome, too.
Especially a limo. It's got that kind of bob and boat motion because it's so long. So, you're going to get that nice.
Oh, that'd be great.
That would be good here. I said hour 15 to Hartford, an hour and 20 to East Lyme, Connecticut, where we were in the last time we were in Connecticut, which was, 50 episodes ago or so. Zip code 06896. Area code 203 or 475. So
how about that?
Beware of this panhandle area code coming your way.
That's interesting. They ran out of area codes before we even got one.
Well, that's funny. It's true. Well, this here too. It's a big area, so it makes sense that the area codes are split. It's a 32 square mile area.
Okay.
About a half a mile of that's on water. There's some shit there, but it's mainly just. There's a lot of woods here. This is a leafy, nice area. This Reading motto. Here, and this is true too. I gotta say here, motto: you know nothing about Connecticut, so this is the capital. So there you go. They've tricked everybody. That's not. No, that's not their motto. They don't have a motto, but that should be their motto because what does anyone know about Connecticut? Nothing. No one gives a shit about Connecticut.
I don't know their capital.
There you go.
Do I know it?
Probably not.
I do know it.
I know that.
If you said it, I'd be like, yeah, of course that's right.
But I know the mall there has no sales tax. I don't know if Connecticut has it now, but I remember the Danbury Mall had no sales tax. And everybody would drive there to get school clothes in New York. So you'd get bumpy, smooth, no sales tax, and then you drive home and be depressed.
Where the hats were made, right?
And that's right there. So it's like I said, 32 square miles. History of this place. This place goes back. All these northeast cities aren't like, well, they found it and we went to Canyon Lake Place or whatever it was. It's like 1973 they decided to put it together. Founded. This is 1639 we're talking about.
Sweet Pete.
For this town here, colonists began receiving grants for land within the boundaries of what is now Reading. This was Native American trails were all through here. This was the Berkshire Path ran through there. A Roger Ludlow in 1639 was the guy who he purchased a lot of land from local Native Americans to establish the city of Fairfield. Mm-hmm. And then in 1668, Fairfield purchased some more land they called Northfield, and part of that is now Reading.
Interesting.
So that's how it came to. The first colonists to settle the area here, they lived near a Native American village. And this Native American village was, I think something had to be lost in the translation here. The Native American village was run by a guy named Chickens Warrups.
Warrups.
Which sounds like, that sounds
Walls?
It sounds like a blackface performer, like a vaudeville guy who puts blackface on and goes, "I'm chicken warrups," like that's what it sounds like, and he's very offensive. That's what I mean. It's a racist, offensive character from the 30s.
Guy in blackface coming out doing Anthony Jeselnik jokes.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I feel like him here. Chicken warrups, or he was also known as Sam Mohawk. To some people.
That sounds more racist.
That's it kind of does.
Sounds worse.
That sounds like a mascot.
Yeah.
It's Mohawk Sam, the mascot for the local baseball team. The local AAA fucking, I don't even know. I just tried to think of something offensive to call them, and they're all the names of real sports teams. So I give up. I was going to say those Redskins. Never mind. Fuck, that's racist as shit, but I can't use that. I don't know. So, so whatever it is, but that's how that worked here. Old Chicken Warrups. He was the guy who all the land deeds pretty much from the settlers in this area, that's who was signing them, was Sammy Mohawk, a.k.a. Chicken Warrups.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, this Chicken Warrups guy. I'm very fascinated with a guy like that.
I want to know more
ran
about him.
Well, Chicken Warrups, he lived in southwestern part of Connecticut in the late 17th century. He was the guy. He also would sell them land for specific things too. They're like, we want to put a church there, and the Chicken Man would be like, all right, cool, we'll do that. Chicken Man would be like, all right, that's cool. I feel like he must have been like walking around petting a chicken or something the whole time, like the Godfather with his cat. He's just petting it.
He had it upside down though, and was petting its balls.
That's the thing.
Only in
like,
the dick.
Interesting, very strange.
Is he petting its warps?
What movie is that? Where then he flips. That's Kramer on Seinfeld does that, where he's got it backwards. And he's petting. And he looks down. And he's like, oh Jesus, and he flips the rooster around. Little Jerry Seinfeld. Little Jerry.
That's hilarious.
I got a cockfight to win here. I got a lot of things going on. So, Chicken Warrups in this area. According to to the state records here, Reading, the original town name was Reading. It was Reading, but spelled Reading.
Got it.
For some reason they did that. Then they just changed it to Reading to be, so people would say it right. Because I assume everyone that came into town was like, Reading, huh? And they're like, fucking asshole. And then after a while they went, maybe it's us.
Yeah.
Maybe we should spell it.
This, right.
The way we want people to say it and just make this easy. Well, who are we kidding here?
Right.
What are we trying to...
We can't get them to pronounce it Reading because that is not a word.
That's not a word, but reading is a word,
right.
And they're seeing that word, and they're saying it because these people are literate. They're lettered, and we have a problem here.
You know what they do? They're used to reading.
Yeah, so shit. All right, well, let's change it.
They're just reading our fucking sign that says reading.
You think they'd be like, who are we trying to prove? What are we proving to people here? We're spelling it this way. All we're doing is fucking being mispronounced constantly. Right. I guess there was a town in Berkshire, England named Reading that's spelled that way. So that's always
fucking
named
English ruin everything.
The Whig douchebags brought the whole thing down here. The whole damn thing. Right. Also, there's a guy named John Reed, who they say might have been after him, who was an early major landholder here. He was a prominent lawyer in Boston and ended up having a lot of land here and being in Boston.
Because he's got money and he can.
He helped get the town boundaries all settled and all sorts of shit like that. In 1767, the name was changed to the current spelling of Reading to, so they said literally to better reflect its pronunciation.
And to stop people from fucking it up.
Yeah, because basically we're tired of being mispronounced. In 1809, they granted Reading the first U.S. post office, which made the official in 1844 the spelling of the town's name.
Gotcha.
So
they're first.
It's first, yeah, not the first in the country. Yeah, they got there first because they have a few post offices. It's more than a few people.
Gotcha. First was in Philly, correct?
I believe so, but that is not. Don't tweet us. Yeah. But yes, I believe it is, and I'm not positive. Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb. Philly, New York, or D.C. Let's just say that
good guess.
Was one of those three, or maybe Boston.
Right.
Who knows? Out of those
could have
four,
been in Plymouth.
I'm going to say one of those four.
Could have been one on a fucking rock out there in Massachusetts.
Just sitting at a guy on a horse out there going, everybody's got some shit. I'll be out at the rock.
You need me to run that shit somewhere? Bring it to me.
Plymouth Bob. Right. He just stands out on the horse. Just give it to him. He's like, that's who the postman was
right.
named.
That's the Kevin Costner start. Right?
Costner just he modeled it after him. He's like, there's a man atop a rock that I want to tell a story about.
He just wants to take some words of yours to somebody else.
That's it here. 1850, they began construction on the Danbury and Norwalk Railroad, which linked those two cities and helped here. Obviously, whenever the railroad comes anywhere near a town, that's always good. Yeah. They began extracting mica in the Branchville section of Reading.
Mica?
Mica.
It's a rock?
Yeah, it's a rock.
It's a mineral.
You remember Great Outdoors? It's the old mica mine. The kids yell down the thing. Yeah, it always comes back to the Great Outdoors. You went, yes, now I know.
Yeah.
That was the same reaction as when I said Steve Earle was on The Wire. He's like, yes.
But I don't think I knew that there was mica in that mine. I remember them crawling down the fucking mine.
Yeah, I remember the old guy saying, there's an old abandoned mica mine down by the thing. And the kids, they yell down the shafts, and the teenagers do God knows what in there. Sorry. Okay. Sorry.
Get off the old man.
Great Outdoors.
I don't think they should be taking pictures with him.
No, yeah.
He died on the way over. You're a sick man.
You're a sick man. Sick man. I love that. Come on, kids.
It's maybe the best scene of the movie.
And then the obligatory a dead person breathed on me, which you need to have that. So over time here, the mine would produce quartz, feldspar, mica, spudamine, whatever the hell that is. It sounds like something you'd clean semen up at a Jack Shack with, and columbite, whatever that the fuck is.
It sounds like a powder.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
It sounds like
something that you like Ajax. You sprinkle water on the spudamite,
and the spudamite,
and it absorbs the spoo.
That's what it is. It's like that shop shit we talked about to clean your hands, except for spooge.
Right.
Except for it's a jizz breaking agent. You know, like dish soap breaks apart oil on a commercial. That's what this is. If we saw this on a commercial, there'd be sperm just swimming for their lives in other directions.
Like when you hit a scorpion when they got the babies on the back.
Oh yeah, they flee everywhere.
They would just fucking jump, just like little swimmers everywhere.
And they're all gonna die.
So gross.
In 1834, Gilbert and Bennett Company purchased the site of a former comb mill. Yes, a comb mill.
How do you mill combs?
We mill combs here. That sounds...
Isn't that a plastic manufacturer?
I'm hoping that it's some sort of honeycomb, but I think it's probably comb mills. They began producing wire mesh cloth. Okay. After that, for window screens and that sort of thing.
The thing is, I'm laughing about this stuff because that seems like a useless fucking tool.
Yeah,
a useless product. But that probably built this town and made them a fortune.
Look on your zipper. Right. Every zipper's made by the same company.
Right.
Like, you don't think about a zipper, and no one thinks I'm going to be the biggest zipper fucking kingpin in the world. Right. But the guy or lady or whoever it is who takes in the majority of the profit from the Zipper Corporation is making a goddamn fortune because there's 46 billion pairs of pants with your zipper on it.
And
so
the people that made
even at a penny a piece, you're making out. You know?
And the people that made this mesh, they probably figured out that there are homes going up everywhere with 30, 40 windows on them. We put those
sieves too for that sort of shit.
Put that mesh on every fucking house, and we're going to clean up.
I could never think of shit like this. I've always thought of that. I'll see some weird business that sounds boring as fuck, and I'm like, how do you get into that? Who thinks of that? But that guy probably has a lot of money. They have money. Whoever owns this
shit.
One
of the biggest houses.
I didn't think of that.
One of the biggest houses in Arizona. The man that owns it and lives in it didn't even do it, mind you. But he still owns the patent because it's his family's.
Oh boy.
It's the fucking wire twist ties that go on bread.
There you go.
Wire twist ties on bread.
Yeah.
The man's house is fucking 40 acres.
That's what I'm saying.
It's huge.
That's what I mean. That's right there. That's the whole point. I need a thing like that. I have an idea too that's really lame and boring too, and I'm going to have it made.
Let's have your dad do it, and you don't have to do shit.
That's a good idea. I have enough going on. I'm going to be designing
my dad was smart.
things. So Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain, as we might know here, lived in Reading. Yes, he moved here in 1908, and this was his final home. He died in 1910 here. He built a big villa here, and the villa could not accommodate all of his books that he had in his personal library, so he donated them to the library of what would now then become the Mark Twain Library that's there now. And this place has retained some about 200 of the original 3,000 volumes that he donated.
That's awesome.
Which is pretty fucking cool, and a bunch of other stuff too. It's like kind of a museum, this library.
You can go there and see a book that dude holds.
That was his book in his house that he'd had on a shelf and might have influenced him in some way, shape, or form. It's kind of neat right there. That's kind of badass. So 1987, this Gilbert and Bennett people that we told about the Wesh and all that, and the mica mines and everything. They are like honored in history as an anachronism in the U.S. Of U.S. industry and labor. This was the National Register of Historic Places. They cited them as, quote, peaceful tree-lined residential streets converge on functioning industrial complex. Well-preserved historic houses stand cheek by jowl with modern factories. The deteriorated slum neighborhoods associated with modern industry do not exist. The elite of Georgetown, almost exclusively associated with Gilbert and Bennett, lived in the midst of their workers. The predictable ethnic neighborhoods did exist in Georgetown outside of the district for the most part. I mean, let's not go crazy here. But their employees were apparently encouraged to occupy or build houses next to the mansions of the officers of the company.
That's cool.
They were like, you can build some shit here. Right. So they were saying it was a really weird thing where they would have like these weird worker complexes, which sounds really creepy. Like, I'll just build a house on the boss's lawn. Right. Like, who the fuck wants to do that? You want to get as far away from that guy as possible?
But back then, I mean, you could fuck off at work a little easier.
Well, I guess they didn't like drop them in a mine at night, so that was considered downright classy back then. Right. And compassionate, like, oh, they're nice to their workers. 1999, the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, designated the factory pond and surrounding land a federal Superfund site to spur the remediation of pollution.
This shit up.
Yeah, absolutely. Reading was selected as the second best small town by Connecticut Magazine in 2012, and it was selected as the fourth best town to live in nationwide by CNN Money in 2009. Wow. Population here, 9,293, so 9,293, which is up 17% since 1990. Older crowd here. Yeah. And when you look at like a lot of things to do, a lot of it is there's like things skewed towards families, and there's a lot skewed toward old people.
Bocce ball and bridge and shit like that.
Old people with money type of thing. Median age 48.8, so that's 11 years older than the national average. More females than males, so that tells you that it's a little older right there. Yeah. 61% married, which is way more than the 50% norm. That's a lot of times older people.
Sounds
too.
Like retired. Dough.
Well, there's a lot of people with money here who tend to. It's weird, but they tend
together.
They tend to be married. Yeah, they'll marry. They tend to be like. Well, I think it's also if you buy a big house, maybe you don't. Maybe you have like an apartment in the city, and then you get married, and then if you're wealthy, then you buy a big house in Connecticut.
Got it.
Type of thing. Also, I just thought this place just reminds me of the Money Pit with Tom Hanks. That's what this is. I feel like
leave because you got so much fucking money in it.
Well, I just feel like that's the neighborhood we're in. Is like the Money Pit with these big houses and
also
that sort of
the
thing.
people are probably not divorcing because they've got all these assets and it's just cheaper to keep her.
Rich people will just sit there and I guess I'll wait you out, you wait me out, and whoever dies last is going to have a happy end of their life.
And they're both fucking around on each other.
They're going to get to do whatever
She's banging the tennis instructor and he's banging his secretary.
That's the way it goes, baby.
But they got a big house.
But look at this house. Yeah. You don't even have to be in the same side of the house as your whoever. So widowed population here is higher than normal. Like we said, a little bit older. Married with children is also a little bit higher. Sure. It's single with no children, not a lot, about half the average. So not a good place to really mingle and party, especially if you are not white, because race is with this town is, as you might expect, 92% white. Yeah. So pretty goddamn white. 1.34% black. Those, I assume, possibly the workers building their houses on the lawn of their office. No, I'm just kidding. That's what it feels like, though. Probably like that. I'm sure these rich people have those thoughts sometimes. Of the workers could just live on the lawn. Right. That way, we don't have to pay them as much. What do they need? Good living expenses. Good God.
But that 1 point whatever is probably just a couple of Yankees or Knicks that moved out.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, you got a good point there. 1.27% Asian, which is less than half the average of usual here. Way less Hispanic. It's usually about 17% Hispanic. It's 3% here. Wow. So it's religion in this town. 64% of the people are religious, which is shocking. Honestly, wow. That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. That's going to be your older people too. But yeah, that's a lot for a Northeast town. It's very strange. 64% and 45.7% Catholic.
Wow.
That is heavy duty Catholic, the Baptists of the North.
You betcha.
Absolutely, right there. 0.5% LDS. They're trying to move in, but they have to save up to move there. They're like, Utah's like half the price. Fuck, man, this is expensive
to buy a house.
Yeah, that's what they have to do. 2% Jewish, which is the highest we've ever had. 2%.
That's incredible.
I don't think we've ever had more than 1%. That's incredible.
Those are New Yorkers.
2%, yeah. 0.6% Islam, 55% Democratic, 44% Republican in this town.
This is Bernie's wheelhouse, isn't it?
Well, Connecticut, not really. These are educated, kind of elitist type. These are these people all went to good colleges, and these people all have this is a different.
They've had a head start. In every
this isn't a Birkenstock wearing hippie liberal. This is white privilege. This is let me explain to you from the beginning why my point of view is whatever. So it's one of those
superior to yours.
Yes, exactly. It's
because my dad, whatever the third, knows better.
Yeah, exactly. No, their dad, the third, is the opposite. He's the one who had his workers living on his lawn going, I don't understand why this isn't good enough. Why do they need plumbing? I don't understand that. They have buckets, don't they?
But his dad knew better to pinch a penny and hang on to it all so that they can have a better life.
Definitely. Unemployment rate's 5%, which is normal. That's pretty average here. Median household income is where we're going to go off the charts here. Normally it's a little under $54,000. Here it is $121,667.
Wow.
So a different kind of
$70,000 more than the average.
Average is the median household has $121,667. So that's living it up right there. Finance and insurance, there's more than twice as many of those jobs. Real estate and that sort of thing, there's more than twice as many of those jobs. Professional, scientific, and technical services, 3 times as many of those jobs.
Really?
Yes. Not a lot of like manufacturing. It's half.
There's not a lot of blue collar.
This is some white collar shit here.
Yeah.
Median home cost here. Wow, $534,200.
Holy shit.
It is now $216 in the rest of the country. $534 here
for a piece of shit.
This is crazy. Yeah, wait till we get to that.
Okay.
You can't get. There's no houses available that are worth under $100,000. So there's not even like a shack. Oh. And then like $100,000 to $200,000, less than 1%. Of the houses. Most of the houses fall in the 37% fall in the 500 to 750 range.
Squeezing you out.
Yeah, and if we've convinced you that you are rich enough and this sounds wonderful, you'd like to live in leafy Redding, Connecticut, we have for you the Redding, Connecticut Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom apartment here goes for $2,560, which is more than twice the national average, and that's like LA prices. Yeah. That's fucking high. Maybe not quite LA.
That's San Diego.
That's San Diego. That's high right there. 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. I found 1,700 square feet, and it is rough.
Really?
It doesn't look like it needs some work. This thing's real rough. $269,900. So that's a bargain there, though. I mean,
that seems fucking crazy.
That's a fixer upper.
Yeah.
I found a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 4,790 square foot home. Beautiful big home. $549,000 there, which, I mean, for that price there, I guess that's not terrible, but still very fucking expensive. I found a 6-bedroom, 11-bath, 14,866 square foot.
Holy shit.
Beautiful palatial villa for $6 million.
Holy fuck.
So,
that one's really fucking up the Zestimates in the area.
Really driving them up. But it says like there's a long list of like, directors and producers and musicians that live in this town.
Really?
Because it's New York. It's their weekend house from New York. They live in New York during the week. They come out there. That's their weekend home that they have their families and shit. Things to do in this town. It is dubbed the, quote, Vermont of Connecticut. So for whatever that's worth,
from, huh?
There you go.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of trails and a lot of hiking.
Gotcha.
This is a more open area than a lot of these surrounding areas.
Yeah.
Once you get out of here, Fairfield's a big city. And like places like that are pretty big, not a huge city, but it's a pretty big fucking city by Connecticut standards. There's a lot of more than 66 miles of trails in this area here. So that's a big deal.
It's like a little New York.
That's what it is. They have the Putnam State Memorial Memorial State Parks, the New Pond Farm, a 102-acre environmental education center, and that sort of thing here, kayaking area. They have the Sester Centennial events, which is the 250-year anniversary of the town, which they're celebrating, and it's a big deal.
They call it Sester?
Sester Centennial.
Okay, I got it.
Sester Centennial.
It's a double centennial and a half.
You go a couple and a half centennials. Yeah. Hey, how many centennials you throwing at me?
Sester, that's how many.
I'll give you 2.5. All right, good enough. A lot of events coming up for that. Crime rate in this town. These people pay for a certain thing here. Crime rate is property crime is less than half the average of the rest of the country. Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime is about 1/3 the normal rate of the rest of the country.
Okay.
So this is a safe, very safe.
Their tax dollars are going to police.
They're going to police and probably walls and shit like that.
They're making themselves fucking very visible.
Kids can ride their bikes on these smooth streets of this town, relatively safe, we'll say here. So let's talk about a few people that ended up living in this town that weren't very affluent people.
No?
They found
Somebody
an apartment.
Let the riffraff in?
They let the riffraff in. They found an apartment. These kids, nice kids. They're known as a group of, quote, happy-go-lucky young men, as they're described.
Frat boys.
They're not actually. They're not frat boys. They're kind of us, Jimmy.
Really?
They weren't that good in school.
Yeah.
They were smoking cigarettes.
But they figured out $2,500 a month.
But they figured out kind of what to do and how to work it, and they were like kind of in a band. They're like 21 years old, these kids, and that sort of thing. But they're the type of kids we would have known rather than the type of kids where we would have been that fucking asshole lives in that huge house. That kid that we both hated.
We had twins at our high school, and both the fuckers, they had...
I like that we both grew up poor so we can hate those people together, because that helps me out a lot, because I was always like, you motherfucker.
These fuckers drove a lowered Tahoe that was like professionally... Like everybody had a lowered car, but we chopped the shit out of them to lower them.
But it wasn't like you and your cousin doing it. It was actually somebody else.
It wasn't somebody on the weekend like cutting the springs and then putting them back in. These kids
doesn't look bad, right?
It's all like fucking leaning one
tire. Does it look professional? Yeah, it's great. Don't worry about it.
These kids had a lowered
It's like a
Tahoe.
fucking Dr. Dre video. It's fine.
The car was probably $30,000, and then they cut the shit out of it.
Christ.
And it was an unbelievable vehicle.
That's terrible.
Everybody hated them because they didn't do it. You know what I mean? Their parents fucking did that for them and paid money for it.
Yeah.
And you don't. But all the chicks dug them. The chicks loved them.
I bet. Yeah,
because
they had a cool
chubby
car.
Kids that were dorks until they had that car.
We had a couple kids who were
getting blowies.
Then they're getting We had a few rich kids, but not that many. And all those rich kids were like, oh, their parents are in the mafia. Like it was shit like that. Like an Italian kid, and they own the fucking waste management company around there. And you're like, oh, okay.
Now I get it.
Now I get it. Shit like that. And then like one kid I knew whose like dad was a fireman who died, so they had some money. You know what I mean? Like otherwise we were all poor. I had friends where their family lived in an abandoned school bus for a while. Like, those were my friends.
That's
you know
my
what I
kind
mean?
of people.
That's what I mean. Those were my friends. And then I hear about these fucks, and I'm like, so these kids I don't mind. I'm all right with these kids.
I went to school with the fucking mayor's kid, and then he left after elementary or middle school. He went to a private high school because
your town isn't good enough.
We would have beat the fuck out of that kid.
Yeah, well, shit. Maybe make the kids in there happier. Make them not so poor, and they won't beat up your son. I'm not sending him with their poor kids. So this is a close-knit circle of kids who all went to school together.
Yeah.
They were Boy Scouts together.
Okay.
They were volunteer firefighters together.
Okay.
They were like kind of had a band that they had together.
Cool kids.
They're cool, nice kids that everybody likes. Like
hard
but
workers.
They're not like they weren't good in school. They're not like academic. They're not going to college. Yeah. They're just like kind of cool blue collar kids that people like. Scott Auerbach, who is 21 years old. This is we'll catch it in 1994 here. Okay. He is 21 years old. David Froelich, who is 22 years old.
Is that Froelich?
Yeah, you got it right there.
That's oftentimes pronounced Freilich.
Freilich, yeah, I've seen it Freilich, but then there's the guy who played for the Falcons. That's Freilich, is Fralic. Right. So that's what I see when I see
only know
Freilich.
that because I went to school with a kid and we all mispronounced it, and he would always yell at us.
No, interesting. Well, and I know somebody that's Froman like that.
Oh,
so it's
Weird.
It's Froman, so okay. I don't know. So whatever it is, Froelich or Freilich, however it goes, it could be Freilich. Yeah. And I'm taking pronunciation advice from Jimmy Whisman, the master of. If you don't get that joke, it's because you turn the show off and the story's over. Just give a listen to the end of the show this time and listen to the shout outs and the way he can butcher the word Pamela, and then he's going to tell me how Froelich and Freilich is the difference in certain. Well, the OEH, the rule actually there in the German language is the fuck out of here. We are both equally clueless, but you could be right here on this one.
I wish I didn't know how to pronounce it because that kid's a dickhead, but whatever.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little more about our good friends at The Great Courses.
TheGreatCoursesPlus.com.
That's right, Jimmy. You got it. Summer's the perfect time to learn something new. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you something from experience that me and Jimmy have found out. Whether it's summer, whether it's winter, it doesn't matter. You need The Great Courses Plus. These are the best things, especially for people like you who are listening to a show like this. That's a story. That's a lengthy thing. I bet you like audiobooks and stuff like that. You are going to love thegreatcoursesplus.com.
You love a great story.
You love a great story. And these are great stories, educational or entertaining. Right. There's everything. You can learn about physics. You can learn about basketball. It doesn't matter. They have everything you want to learn about from the top experts in every single field. It is so fantastic. And we're still really we've recommended it before, and we know you're going to love it. We're into understanding the mysteries of human behavior.
Human behavior is such a mystery.
It's fascinating and it's mysterious, and this helps a lot. Honestly, we had a great time watching this. I've actually watched it 3 times now, and it's fantastic, and I'm having a great time. You really need to check it out. If you like this show, you're going to be interested in the mysteries of human behavior.
For sure.
Because if you've heard anything on here, you know it's mysterious.
It is.
We know that. That there is a great course to get started with on the Great Courses Plus, or enjoy any of the fascinating courses, not just one, anything from their entire library, using this wonderful special order just for you guys, our listeners. This is a free trial with unlimited access to the entire The Great Courses Plus library.
Yeah.
Everything under the sun. But to start your free trial, you must first go here today, go to thegreatcoursesplus.com/STM. That's thegreatcoursesplus.com/STM. Get started today. You are going to love it.
TheGreatCoursesPlus.com/STM and get a free trial and give it a shot. And now back to the show.
If you like our show, you are not going to want to miss No Excuse with John Taffer. Shut it down and listen to John, the award-winning hospitality legend, as he brings his straight talk and unapologetic approach to the daily topics and current events. You don't want to miss his latest interview with Adam Carolla, so download No Excuses every Tuesday on Podcast One, podcastone.com, and Apple Podcasts. Also, remember to rate and review.
And now back to the show.
We also have a Jason Truwitz, the Truzwitz. It's a tough one to pronounce. Trusewicz.
Don't look at me.
Yeah, exactly. So that's usually it's at the end. So Truzwitz, I'm going to say. Now, all of them except for Jason Truzwitz there, were all graduates from the same high school. They all graduated from Joel Barlow High School there in Reading. They were called Susan Haig here, who's the assistant principal there, called them, quote, good kids. So said they were in several activities, the school theater production. They were in the wilderness survival program. They were into that, which that seems weird for a kid. I don't know. Unless you live in like the South or something and you're just into the outdoors. Kid from Connecticut seems, I'm going to be the wilderness survivor in Reading, Connecticut.
I had a friend who I just recently found out he was an Eagle Scout. And he didn't tell any of us in high school because he didn't want to get made.
I was going to say, in the 90s in high school, that would not have been the plus for you to be an Eagle Scout.
I'm like, where are you going this weekend? He's like, I got shit to do. And I'm like, you don't want to come hang out? And he's like, no, I got places to be.
You know, you would have said, what are you, blowing your Scoutmaster? That's what it would have been. That would have been the thing.
What are you talking about? You're going on a Boy Scout trip, you
what are you,
fucking
4?
nerd.
What the hell's going on? Yeah, what are you, 8? Do you have cookies you can sell me?
Meanwhile, he's now a pharmacist and makes a boatload of money.
And the Boy Scouts helped him none with that. I don't think, does he tie the pills? Does he tie the sandwich baggie in a knot on top like a drug dealer when he gives you your pills? And he goes, I learned that knot in the Scouts. I don't think so.
That is, that's a fucking square knot on your Xanax.
It's impressive right there. You're going to need scissors to get at that bad boy, so enjoy. Yeah. It's to slow you down. So they were not known as good students in high school, but they didn't cause any trouble. That's what they were. Okay. They were C students, that sort of thing here. They'd not gone to college, but they were saying they were kind of just finding their way. They had jobs. They were trying to, the three of them together. If they live in an apartment, they can afford the rent, that sort of thing. They were trying their best. The Freilich, his father, is a retired mechanical engineer, and Freilich has 7 brothers. Freilich has 7 brothers and sisters, by the way. So he's one of 8. So they're retired mechanical engineer, which could make some good money, but I don't care what you are with 8 kids. Yeah, that's a lot.
That engineer was thrilled that he found a woman that would fuck him, and he fucked her a lot.
Yeah, a lot. He's like, we're gonna do this shit.
I can't believe you like me. I'm an engineer.
He's one of the 45.7% Catholic, where he's like, sorry, we're throwing down. We have a mission to repopulate this motherfucker, and I know it's not valid anymore. That's from thousands, but still, we're going to do it anyway.
That nerd likes pussy. I like him.
He does. Yeah, you can't not like him for that. His father here said of his son David, he said, quote, he was not a good student. He smoked cigarettes, and I often got on him for the wrong reasons. But David had more friends than I ever had. He was always up and always smiling.
Yeah, his dad was a nerd.
So, exactly. His dad was a nerd. He's like, why can't you get good grades? And he's like, because my finger is in a girl right now. That's why. It's hard to study while I'm literally, there's a girl's hand down my pants. That's why.
One hand is inside a woman, and the other one is smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? You would kill for this, Dad, and you know it.
Right. The neighbor likes the taste of my dick. That's why.
What the fuck? What about that don't you understand?
And I'm fucking 17.
Yeah, well, I
don't care.
This is, I could understand him being like, I want you to go to college. He's a mechanical engineer. I want you to be smart and go to college. And he's like, nope. No. I got this guitar and this cigarette, and the girls come a-running. Right. So this is going to be better. So, September 1st, 1994. This is exciting times for these young men here, and this is exciting. They decide they're going to get an apartment, and they all move in together. Okay. So that's hot shit when you're 20, 21, 22, and you're going to get a place with your 2 buddies.
No college,
but no parents, no nothing. Right. You all got to go to work, and you come home at night, and you're going to hang out, and you're going to drink beer, and you're going to smoke a joint, and you're going to play your music, and you're going to have chicks over, and that's what people are trying to do here. I mean, it's the life of a college student minus the college.
Right.
They just go to work during the day.
I'm going to go make money instead of fucking sit and listen to somebody. Yeah. I've sat and listened to somebody for the past 18 years. I didn't like it.
No, and then all the people listening to those people, I'll live on their lawn someday, and that'll be wonderful for me. But for now, everything's fun because I'm getting the chicks. Right. So these 3, Scott, David, Jason, they move into this apartment. The address here is 166 Portland Avenue. It's in the Georgetown section of Reading, Connecticut. This place, on this property, it was a single-family residence that had been enlarged a little bit. There's some additions that we'll talk about, and it's converted into 3 different apartments. Okay. So that's kind of how they did this. The landlord lived here with his family, and we'll talk about him, and then he ended up moving away and made this into 3 separate units to rent out. So try to make it generate some cash off of this. Right. An income property. Right. There you go. From when he lived there for approximately 10 years, now he's going to try to make it an income property. Beautiful. Here. Yeah, not a bad deal. The first floor of the building was 2 apartments, and the second floor, the whole second floor was the 3rd apartment.
Yeah, man.
So it's a split thing with a 3rd. Exactly. Yeah. There was a 2-story glass atrium attached to one side of the building and a stairwell, a spiral stairway inside the atrium that provided that the people came up from the ground to get up to the second floor apartment.
Beautiful. You got your own entrance.
That was their entrance.
And it's fucking luxury.
That's kind of cool. A spiral staircase atrium.
In a glass atrium.
Yeah, dude, if you're 21.
Fucking yeah.
and you're bringing, that's good. You're gonna. I would have kept that shit so Windexed when I was 21. That shit would have been so nice. And been like, you like my atrium?
I would heat it in the wintertime so that it fogs up just a little bit.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Just a little.
Just a little bit.
Looks
just
warm
enough
in there,
at the
doesn't
top to where it's like I want to be in there.
Looks warm in there. Yeah. It's like a mug of hot chocolate up there. Look at that, the frothing right up at the top. It's a thing of beauty. But yeah, man, I thought about this and I'm like, this is a fucking great thing for these kids, man. Like, this sounds so fun.
This is a dream of anybody that didn't go to college. You know what I mean? That's just starting out.
This is fun. This is to hang out with your friends and to just have a level of. I know we're over glorifying this because we're wishing. We both have kids and shit like that, so we're over glorifying the free. Like, no one's ever asking you for anything.
No.
You know? We're gonna get very specific about it and shit. Like, no one's has a bedtime and like no one asks you for shit.
Wouldn't it be great to yell at somebody for eating your cold pizza? That was a grown adult.
What the fuck, bro?
Yeah, and then you just be like, deliver me a new one.
And
now.
That's your biggest problem.
That's great.
Fucking dude, he's a dick, man. No, he eats all my pizza, bro. I fucking order it, man. No, fuck that, man. I went to that Mongolian grill where you just stuff everything in there and you get as much as you want, so I get leftovers. I brought that shit home. That was like 4 fucking meals, man. He ate all that shit, man. He ate it fucking all.
I was gonna meal prep that, bro.
As a matter of fact, he even stole my weed and that's why he ate it all. So fuck him. He stole my weed and my fucking Mongolian grill.
Day.
That's not bad. No. If you're going through that right now and that feels like shit, enjoy it. It's going to be fun because you have no worries whatsoever.
It's your best day.
It probably is your best day.
Because here's the thing: I'll get pizza or I'll get whatever I want and bring it home, put it in the fridge, and I wake up the next morning and it's gone.
Oh, it's going to be gone.
And it was a fucking kid that
you can't yell at him.
He can't replace it.
No, and he can't replace. Yeah, he has no responsibility.
He's going to use my credit card. I'm buying it again. You fucker.
How's he going to get there? Right. Yeah, he's not going to replace it, and they don't even feel any shame at all for it. At least this guy, you could maybe shame something. I don't know, man. I feel like, they had a good time, but honestly, though, maybe that wouldn't be so fun. Now that I think about it, I bet it smells in there.
Yeah.
I bet it smells like balls.
Yeah. Of course it does.
It smells like, you know what? Never mind. I'm happy
It's a fraternity
now.
Minus the other 18 dudes.
Yeah.
And it's just, and these guys got plenty of room to spread out. They got their leg, like in a frat house, like they've got their legs closed because there's dudes like lapping it.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Big time.
And pushed up against them. Here their balls are open.
Oh, it's a ball
Summertime's
swinging.
Not fun.
It's a ball swinging kind of house right here.
This is ice.
It's a free balling house just happening all over the place. Here's a free balling house when everybody comes
household.
I almost said free basing household. This here's a free basing household.
Ball scent is what you're doing.
Ooh, that's disgusting.
That's tough.
No one wants to free base ball scent. So they have this atrium. Also, there is a Lauren Spear. Her and her 5-year-old son live in the front first floor apartment, and the rear first floor apartment is occupied by Freddie Altamirano. Sorry, Altamirano. That's
Spanish
not that bad. Yes, he's from Costa Rica. As a matter of fact, he's an immigrant. He lives there with 3 other unknown men. Also, they kind of stuff themselves into that.
Stowaways.
Yeah, pretty much. It's they're Freddie Altamirano. His legal status is dubious at best.
Great.
At this point, immigration wise. So you can keep that in mind that he is willing to. He's willing to go along with a lot of things because he's afraid, basically.
Right.
Him and 3 other people live there. The guys, on the other hand, the boys here, they all, Scott, David, and Jason, they crammed their beds into closets, basically, because the place wasn't that big, and there's 3 of them. So they crammed, the 2 of them crammed their beds into the large closets, and then the Trusewitz or whatever had been sleeping on the living room couch, apparently, there. And then their landlord, this place is owned by a guy named Jeffrey Kent Ferguson, who sounds like a bewigged douchebag, as a matter of fact. This is a grown man in his 30s and 40s through this board. Well, no, this is a grown man with a ponytail.
Oh, boy.
So let's keep that in mind. and it's not a cool ponytail.
No.
He's an older guy, like 40s with long hair, just in a ponytail.
Vile.
Yeah, it's bad stuff.
The worst.
He's not like a rock star.
No.
He's not Johnny Depp.
He doesn't even play a bass at the fucking.
He's a handyman.
Oh, boy.
So he's a ponytailed handyman.
That makes sense.
That tells you a lot there about this Jeffrey Kent Ferguson.
They're always
here.
up to something, those guys with ponytails.
Don't trust, especially this ponytail. If you saw this guy, you'd be like, oh, Jesus Christ.
What the fuck, man?
He grew up in Lower Fairfield County. He was a Boy Scout when he was a kid, Ferguson also. He had a couple legal problems when he was younger. He really was into the scouting, though. He had a ton of merit badges, and he was like Mr. Boy Scout.
Working on Eagle.
Dude, that's what he was all about. Like they said, he was like, he had this focus to get badges. Yeah. He wanted to develop every skill that the new badge needed you to do. He looked forward to overnight camping trips, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. He was super into being a scout. He became a scout, and around age 12 is when he joined, and he stayed active up until he was about 15 or so.
Okay.
So that's not, 3 years. Yeah. I remember kids in school. Do you remember in elementary school when kids would come to school in the scout uniform?
That's just embarrassing.
They had it right after school.
That's terrible.
I remember that. I'd just be like, what a fucking dildo. What a dildo.
You can't put that shit in your mom's back seat? What are you doing?
Maybe it was because my parents weren't responsible enough to get me to any kind of meeting on a regular basis, and I was upset about that possibly. But I took it out on that kid and his fucking ascot. Nice ascot, tough guy. Like, that was fucking Boy
My
Scouts.
grandfather was a scout master, and he's just such an outdoorsy dude. He rides horses. He's a fucking man's man. He can build anything with his hands are all gnarled now from the arthritis.
Well, all
actually
that kid touching will do that
stuff.
for you. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, I had to. There's very nice people who do things with kids.
I don't know why he stopped doing it, but he's the epitome of a scoutmaster. And I know that he didn't like what the fucking scouts were becoming, they were known for.
There's a lot of weird politics in the
there's
scouts.
A lot of fucking rumors and facts.
There's facts and rumors and cover-ups, and then there's also religions that came in and tried to take it over. There's a lot of problems with the Boy Scouts.
He used to go to the jamborees and all that shit.
Oh,
He's
boy.
so good at what he did.
Zippity fucking do that. Going to the jamboree
Build
tonight.
a teepee, motherfuckers.
Why don't they just have, like, cookies? I don't get that. Or brownies, then. Sell some brownies. Have one selling cookies.
Don't look at me, man.
What's going on, Boy Scouts? Get your shit together. What do you think? It's not manly enough? Guess what? Those girls will buy you and sell you 100 times over, so I don't give a shit what you think is manly. Make some fucking cookies.
Yeah, they're clearly cleaning up a lot better than you boys are.
Dude, they have contracts with all the ice cream makers have all the different flavors, ice cream. That's a huge business, man. That's a huge industry. Those kids should be pulling up, when they sell out in front of the grocery store, they should be pulling up in like a big Escalade limo.
They should give him the green one. Mary Kay gives him the fucking pink thing.
That's exactly
right. They should get
right.
that mint chip green.
There you go. Thin mint green, they call it. It's a new color just for them.
Thin mint green Jeep. That's
pulling
what
up in a thin mint green Jeep. That would be perfect, man.
The whole fucking troop in there.
It's green just with a dark chocolate brown on the top and bottoms of the car, though, around the bottom and around the top.
That's
and they pull up.
amazing.
That's what you do right there.
That's the shit.
Oh, my God.
Girl Scouts of America painted on the fucking hood.
They're in the Samoa mobile. Look at that. Wow. That's a cool one. They all come out with lays on and shit. And it's Team Samoa. I only want the shortbread. The trefoil truck is the only one I'm interested in.
Those are the ones you want?
I love those things.
You're out of your mind.
The shortbread ones, and I like a Thin Mint. I'll take a Thin Mint.
The new s'mores cookie. It's a fucking sandwich, and it is
not bad.
Absurd how good it is.
I like a tag-along.
Yeah, tag-alongs
I'll
are
eat
decent.
a tag-along, yeah.
Is that the peanut butter one?
But it's not the sandwich that's made from 2 Brillo pads and some dried peanut butter. It's not that one. 2 Triscuits and some peanut butter. It's the chocolate one with the little indent.
Right.
I love the little.
It's like a handle.
It's so good. In the middle, it's just a little reservoir of peanut butter. It's dug out. Fuck, they're good.
The Samoa is the most perfect cookie that's ever been made. Yeah, you don't like coconut. But that thing is legit.
People love those fucking things. I wish I liked it.
The coconut sticks to the caramel so perfectly. It's amazing.
I would like more caramel in your cookies, Girl Scouts, if there's anything.
And dark chocolate? Fuck out of here. That's amazing.
Now I want devil dogs and ring dings, and I want coffee cakes, because I heard they're back now from Drake's Coffee Cakes, which I've been craving for years, and I want Drake's, if you can hear me. I love everything you sent me. Thank you very much. I'd like some coffee cakes, please. I'll talk about them incessantly.
When we record after dinner.
Yes, this is what happens. Now I want dessert.
I want cookies and fucking deviled dog.
I have crunch berries, man. You know what I mean? You know, that's eating at my mind right now. So one man here, this guy here, we're going to hear about him. We hear about him. This guy, he'll have a bunch of things to say, and they all are different, which is funny. He's an old man. Yeah. He's an 82-year-old man at this point, 70-something-year-old man. Samuel Lipovsky here. He remembers that Jeffrey would call this Lipovsky, Samuel, and ask him for rides to his troop meetings because he was a scoutmaster that lived around there. This Samuel, says, quote, "I was his scoutmaster. I got along real good with him." He said he was a very good scout. This guy lives across the street from Ferguson's mother.
Oh, okay. I
so
gotcha. Yeah.
he grew up across the street from this guy here. When he took off, I guess they said he was normal when he would be outside of the Boy Scouts. He wasn't a weirdo. Mm-hmm. He wasn't like... he didn't just sit in his room. He didn't go sit in the woods by himself and try to burn ants with a magnifying glass.
Plan the next outing with young boys.
He'd go out with the other kids in the neighborhood and, just like everybody else did back then. He was born in 1951. So late 50s, early 60s, they just send your kids outside. Right. They ride their bikes. They play baseball. They do shit. They come home unraped. Usually,
there it is.
More often than not, unlike now, unless they went to church. Which the funny part is that's safe,
right?
Because they were like, "We'll send him to church." House. Yeah, that way he stays out of trouble. But that's not stays out of the wrong kind of trouble.
Right.
So his scoutmaster here said he, quote, "He got along with the other kids real well, and he had many friends who were scouts and not scouts too." So everybody said he was very normal. I guess this street was a very wide street that he grew up on, and so this was like where all the kids from all the other neighborhoods would come to play because it was a really wide street. Yeah. This Jeffrey Ferguson had 3 brothers. And they would always be playing their family's front yard, and like the street in front of it was kind of like the central. There's always like whoever's front yard is like the central base that everybody gathers at.
The most fun one.
Yeah, they have
or the coolest parents. One of the two.
I was going to say if they had like some juice boxes that they throw out to who wants some Capri Suns, and we're hanging out in your yard from now on. My mom doesn't have a shit in there. The Samuel Lipovsky said, quote, "He was out there playing ball all the time. I always found him to be no different than any of the other kids in the neighborhood. He was a very polite young man from my experience with him." Keep that in mind. He was out there playing ball. I always found him to be no different than the other kids. He was a very polite young man, and all the other kids liked him, and he was fine.
Got it.
Remember that for later, because he has a completely different statement later where you're like, did you get hit in the fucking head? I realize you're like 80, but did you go senile overnight and just change who you are?
You said about this man?
That's literally what it is. Like, I think you are mistaken. Do you want to go back to your notes? Do you want to go back?
Sure you're talking about the same kid, sir?
Yeah, like if there's a detective on the stand and he brings up a name of a person who's not in the case, and you're like, "Detective, I think maybe you're talking about the wrong case." And he goes, "Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Jeez, I'm on the wrong page. Page 4. Yeah, okay, this guy. Yeah,
so
he's a scumbag."
There was no rape in this case.
No.
What are you talking about?
This is just a boundary dispute between a company and a residential area on where the fence should go. I don't believe rape has ever been. Did anybody rape anyone in this? No, I think you're out of line.
And that's when he broke in and raped her.
I think you're out of line, detective. I really do. I did nothing of the sort. I did nothing of the sort.
Raped the old lady over her boundary.
This is a hearing about us, like a corporate. It's a corporation commission hearing.
His license is expired. That's all we're talking about.
What you're saying? This is really weird. Very strange.
This is really out of hand.
What you're talking about exactly? There's a dispute with the homeowners association
Officer,
over
have you been drinking?
The color of his flowers. Officer, is that scotch I smell on your breath?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is. All right, that explains it. Now everything's fine. That explains it. Now I'm okay now that I know. So this Ferguson here, this fella here, his next door neighbor, Dorothy Wood, who lived there forever, said the whole family was very quiet, generally kept to themselves. The kids were normal. Everything's fine.
The worst people.
Exactly. The worst people. But
the people you need to fear.
Yeah. So he grew up in a nice suburb, nice area with 4 brothers and sisters and a big wide road and everybody playing and Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts and all that horse shit. He did have a little trouble with the law, this Jeffrey Ferguson. 16 years old is his first brush with the law. It is Halloween 1966. And him and a 15-year-old pal were at the Staples High School on North Avenue. They got there before dawn. And before them, what they did here, in white capital letters, they have a sign out front that says Staples High School, Westport, Connecticut abbreviated, CONN, and it's in white capital letters in a dark background. Okay. Underneath, it's a smaller sign, and it says gift of the class of 1966. At that point, senior gift.
Right.
These boys apparently, this Jeffrey and another boy tore both signs down and just completely destroyed the lumber that made them. Just chopped them all up and left them in a pile of wood at the front.
Boys will be boys.
That's what boys will be boys. Now that is in 1966. That meant boys would be. They were pissed though back then. They also said that they came around and found 1969 spray painted on the side of the auditorium for some reason here. I guess graduating class or something. Yeah, 1969 here over there. So that's what the police found. 3 days later, the newspaper, the Westport Town Crier, called this vandalism, quote, the meanest trick of its kind in years.
Oh, for Pete's sake, it's paint.
You know that you are in a fucking small town when they call destroying a wooden sign that they just put up and some paint on the side of an auditorium the meanest trick of its kind in years. In years.
It's not like it's like 1975 and they're painting 69 all over the place.
No,
they're literally painting the year that it is.
That's it. One of the seniors from that class, 1966, wrote a letter to the newspaper and termed the vandalism, quote, a malicious, contemptible deed done by some inconsiderate child.
Somebody was super proud of their wood fucking sign.
A high school senior said that. That sounds like the prosecutor for any district attorney across the land is what that sounds like. It's a malicious, contemptible deed. That sounds like some horrible crime. That sounds like most of the crimes we cover lately.
Fucking hurt a child.
Yeah.
Or very...
or there's a hot sauce bottle or a shovel handle or what we had last week, and Jesus, which was probably worse than all of that.
Maybe so. It's just the overreaction to things like that in small towns when they haven't seen like really awful things.
I mean, it's shitty. It's stupid. The kid's an idiot. Make him fucking pay for it. Work it off. Whatever it is. It's the 60s. I don't know. But yeah, they're acting like they're literally acting like
it was the last tree.
He burned the library to the ground, so no one could have any books. Or it's like, cut the last tree down and did something terrible.
I think somebody made that same statement about Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold at fucking Columbine.
That's more of that's a meaner trick.
That's
probably
a terrible deed.
Yeah, that's the meanest trick of its kind in years. They updated their in 1999. This town updated its. We have an update editorial. Correction.
Second meanest trick.
Second meanest. 33 years ago, we called something the meanest trick of its kind in years. We'd like to correct that. Right. Also not as malicious, contemptible, or inconsiderate as we had previously thought.
On second thought, this Jeffrey Ferguson's arrested on November 3rd, 1966, and charged with willful destruction of public property. You dirtbag, you contemptible dirtbag. They also accused him of stealing a 17-year-old classmate's car from the high school parking lot on the day of the vandalism. Well, that's just hilarious.
That's, on the other hand, I don't think that's a different story at that point. Now you're dealing with Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. The friend also that he brought, the 15-year-old, was also charged in the vandalism. At this point, the records show that Ferguson pleaded guilty later on. We don't know the resolution of this because he was a minor. Yeah. Later on, he pleaded guilty, though, to a motor vehicle theft and a criminal mischief, but I don't think it was this one. It's a confusing record from 40 years ago. So
he's stealing all kind of cars.
He's stealing shit. He's doing dumb things. He receives a 60-day suspended sentence for both the crimes and was placed on a year's probation at some point for a vandalism charge that he had. A year later, he ends up serving 30 days in jail for violating the probation. Probably there was a ponytail clause in it somewhere, I'm assuming. And he said, I will not adhere to your ponytail clause. I'm sorry. I could just see that.
We're not gonna
take it. His 71 high school yearbook photograph. He's 20 years old and still in high school for some fucking reason. Number one, what happened?
He's a monster.
Yeah. Remember the kids who were 20 and 21? You're like, what the hell is he still doing here?
I knew a dude that was 19.
He can buy beer.
Yeah. I knew a dude that was 19, and we looked down on that fuck.
I knew a kid who was 21.
Get out of here.
He was 21 years old.
The only ones that were that age at our school had Down syndrome.
No, this kid was just like a special case. He was this really dumb Italian kid, too. He was funny. He had a car with a hole in the back seat on the floor, and he'd be like, if you got to take a leak, just do it. Just lift up the floor mat. You can do it right out the floor, but watch out for pebbles. You know what I mean? And he'd crack up laughing, and I'm like, I'm not pissing out of the floor of your car. Well,
we had a kid named
hovering over the floor of your car, but he had like some family issues, and I think he had a head injury for a while or something, so they let him come back to school and shit. But he was funny as fuck to hang out with because he was pretty much, We
just had one named Marco who was just dumb. He was a dummy. He was funny. He was fun to be around. But he was from New York, and we didn't have anybody from New York at our school because it was way the fuck out here. So he talked funny to us. Yeah, and we would always we called them Adidas sneakers because that's how he legitimately called them Adidas sneakers.
Yeah, sneakers.
And at 17, I couldn't take it. I'd die laughing anytime he'd tell me about it.
Do you remember what borough he was from?
No, I don't.
I'll tell you what.
I would assume the Bronx
or
some shit like that.
Yeah, that's more. Well, never mind. But there's a lot there.
I'd have to call him. But
you're gonna give him a ring? Still got his number, Jimmy? Guys, keep in touch.
His dad's name was Enzo, like legit from Italy.
All right, I know people named Enzo. Calm down.
And Marco was the epitome of just a guinea from New York, and I didn't understand it then. If I'd have known it, if I'd have met him today, we'd be best of friends. And I'd die laughing every day listening to him.
That's the thing. Right. Yeah, you can just be like, you're ridiculous. You're a caricature. You know that.
And now looking back,
listen to James. You can beat it. You can beat it.
Now it's all too obvious why he was there when he was 19, because he was a dummy.
He was dumb. Yeah, this kid had some brain damage, so we used to hang out with him, and he'd just start driving, and he would just like turn his car and bash into garbage cans with his car and laugh at the top of it, like a psychopath, like Robert De Niro in Cape Fear. You're like, what are you doing? He had like a 74 Duster with a hole in the floor that he pissed out of. I don't think he cared about that. So interesting. So 20 years old when he had a mustache too.
Okay.
He had one of those sideburn into the mustache but not beard combo.
In his high school photo.
He's 20 for Christ's sake.
Good Lord.
And he had long hair back then also, which he never cut. He ends up just ponytailing later on. He didn't have a lot of extracurriculars in school or anything like that.
Yeah.
He lived at home after he graduated. He was a laborer. He's kind of like these kids. He was a laborer. He did small jobs. And that's kind of how he progresses as he ends up being a handyman is his business. He got a van at some point from working in small jobs. Oh, well, any weirdo creep's got to have a van back then. I hope he put carpeting in the back. And
on the walls.
A waterbed maybe, something like that. Back then, when did a van turn from like, holy shit, this is when a dude at some point in the 70s, a dude would roll up in a new van, pop open the back, and it would be like a living room in there, and people would be like, you're going to get so fucking many chicks in here. Oh my God.
Yeah.
They're going to be hanging off this thing. At some point, it went from that to, oh my God, there's a guy in a van. He's so creepy. He's going to kidnap me and rape me and kill me in that van and throw me in the woods. When did that happen?
It was shortly after. After murderers found those vans and were like, I can totally kill bitches back here.
But most of these serial killers had Volkswagen Bugs.
That's
though.
A good point.
Nobody classifies that, but a van's more for molesters, which makes people. I feel like people like molesters less than murderers.
Maybe because
serial killers.
You got to live with that shit eventually.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, so
you get murdered, it's all over.
It's all over.
Right.
Nothing more to revisit at that point here. So he did that. He had a van, and he'd have his tools and his materials, and he'd do handyman shit and that sort of thing. His neighbors said that they would see him parked from time to time, in the neighborhood with his van, everything. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about MedMen.
MedMen.com.
Ooh, MedMen is the premier cannabis company in the entire United States with recreational and medical retail locations throughout Southern California. MedMen's goal is to mainstream the cannabis industry and empower people to exercise their right to purchase and use cannabis however they want.
Look at you.
That's right.
You are so excited.
I'm so excited. It's a high-quality experience. MedMen offers offers a high-end shopping experience with knowledgeable and friendly staff that will help you find exactly what you're looking for. It's not weird or creepy. It's just great. Our stores are bright and they're airy, and they have been compared to the Apple Store of weed.
How about that?
That's what they're called. That's what they feel like. If you live in California, it's an exciting time right now, and MedMen is helping to redefine the cannabis industry and empower people to do what they want to do. They have shops that are open for both medical and recreational marijuana. Anyone over 21 with a valid ID is welcome. I'm telling you, they're nice places. Yeah. I've seen them on the inside. Darn nice. I would recommend them wholeheartedly. And MedMen is committed to providing the highest quality and safety so you won't have to worry about what you're buying. Be empowered to exercise your right to buy cannabis. Check out one of their retail locations throughout Los Angeles, Orange County, San Diego, or go to medmen.com to find your nearest store. That's medmen.com. Plus, exclusively for our listeners, everybody, visit MedMen and tell them you heard about them on Small Town Murder Podcast at checkout for $10 off your order. Limit 1 per customer. Terms and conditions may apply. Check out MedMen today.
MedMen.com to find the store nearest you, and then come on in and mention Small Town Murder for $10 off your order. And now back to the show.
He didn't really have any more trouble with the law anyway until July 25th, 1981. Mm-hmm. At this point, police say that he was driving on Hillsport Road when a pair of 12-year-old boys started throwing plastic bags filled with basically homemade water balloons. They didn't have little shit kids that didn't even have water balloons. And like, we could just fill Ziploc bags. Hey, Tommy, we could fill Ziploc bags with water and just throw. They don't have that accent.
My mom said, do you know how much the mortgage is here? She's not going to buy us balloons.
Yeah, so we're filling plastic bags with water and throwing them at cars, which is never a wise decision.
And they're more expensive than water balloons,
Oh, absolutely. Ziploc bags are expensive as fuck.
It's ridiculous.
It's always a bad idea. We threw snowballs at a car one time, and the man tried to murder us when I was a child. We were like 9, and he chased us into the woods, and we ran for our lives. Yeah. We threw no rocks or anything like that. We were little kids. They're just snowballs. Yeah. This dude said, stopped on a screeched, skidded out to the side, got out, and fucking ran into the woods after us like a maniac.
I would lose my mind.
He leaped over a snowbank like a fucking crazy person.
Were you running, screaming? Like it was just snow.
Like I had Lawrence Taylor chasing me. That's what it felt like. And we just both ran and we split up and met up back up at Mike. We had contingency plans, me and my cousin. My cousin Jesse and I had contingency plans. We were always scamming somebody, but we met up back at my grandmother's house. But it was scary stuff.
We've pissed in bags and threw them at the Dort kid's house.
That's worse.
The kid's house was directly across the street from ours. Like,
that's going to be tough on the poor boy.
He could see us running back inside.
That's terrible. Hey, who threw that? Called. Never mind. Right. Yeah, you're going to get the cops called on that point.
And the cops were like, "What's in this bag?" And I was like, "I think it's apple juice." And he was like, he just stared at me. And I was like, "That's piss."
That's piss. I think it's apple juice. It's Sunny Delight. Trust me. It's the best thing to do.
And he just looked at me, and I'm like, "It's piss." And then he's like, what do you want me to do, officer? You want me to lie to you more? Do you want me to try to find more products?
Did you smell said liquid by any chance? Have you taken a whiff of their front door?
Listen, officer, it's unmistakable. Used to be apple juice.
Undeniable. That's piss. I know piss when I smell it, and that's some piss right there, officer. Holy shit. So this is 2-year-olds or 2-year-olds, 2 12-year-olds, not 12 2-year-olds, are hitting the van with plastic bags filled with water. Yeah. First of all, there's 2 12-year-olds. How many plastic bags are they really hitting you?
2.
It's not a lot.
You got 2 hands each.
So this Ferguson, rather than laughing or going, "Hey, you little bastards, cut it out," he leaps from the car, jumps out, and pursues the boys. Catches one of them. I'm so glad this didn't happen to us. Catches one of them and beats him.
Oh, my God.
He pummels a 12-year-old boy, even in the head, to the point where it permanently injured the boy's ear.
Jesus.
This is fucking crazy. Then he got back in his van and fucking drove away.
Wow.
So that's crazy. You beat a child in the street and then jumped in your van and drove away.
Back then, it's a different time. Like, if you don't beat your kids, I'll beat them for you.
Well, I feel like this is 1981. If it was 1961, the mother would have came out as she picked her bloody child up. She'd have waved and went, "Thanks." Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for beating him good. He's been cutting up today. Thanks. Thank you. Come on, you little bastard. And she drag him in by his pant leg.
What the hell's gotten into him?
Scraping him on the gravel as he go, well, get up then if you don't like being scraped on the gravel. Okay. Right. Sniffling and shit. But yeah, not here though. So he beats these kids. The child's mother instead takes the tag number down on the van and gives that to the police department, who charge Ferguson here with 3rd-degree assault and risk of injury to a minor, which is a felony. So that's a big deal at this point. Well, you can't. I'm sorry. If they threw a hand grenade at your car, that'd be one thing.
Punishment crime.
If they could have hurt you, if they threw a rock through your windshield as you're driving and you skid it off to the side of the road, I could see you snapping.
It takes your eye.
It's a bag of water. You can't jump out, and that's not proportional to pummeling a 12-year-old in the fucking head. So it's insane. He ends up pleading guilty, as obviously he, I think, knew the same thing.
Right.
Plus, that was a felony. That probably carried, if you go to trial, that probably carried some time to it. Instead, he pleads guilty on 2 misdemeanor assault counts, which is not bad for pummeling a 12-year-old. He got a suspended 6 months jail sentence and 2 years probation.
Wow.
That's almost worth punching a 12-year-old.
I'd consider it.
If you're mad at a 12-year-old and you go, I don't really have it, fuck, I can level this kid and really get nothing for it. That's not bad.
I can do two years probation stand on my head.
The problem is there's a lot of shithead 12-year-olds. I feel like if people knew that you could get that little time for pummeling some stranger's 12-year-old in the street, I feel like there'd be a lot more 12-year-old beatings. Just strangers. I'm going to fuck that kid up. So probably this is good that this flew under the radar. Also, he had several other arrests that we don't know. We have record of arrests, but they're sealed because the charges were either dismissed or ultimately not prosecuted.
I wonder if he didn't know that it was a water bag. You know, because I've hit. All right.
Yeah, that's true. He might have heard boom.
Right.
And
back then, those vehicles are all steel.
Oh, they're all steel.
You hit that with water bottle.
You hit the side of one of those with a spitball. It's going to sound like you're under fire from the artillery.
I hit a new vehicle in traffic because this fucker almost hit me. So I pulled up next to him and just hucked a water bottle that was half full out the fucking door, and it smashed into the side of his car. He pulled over because he thought I don't know, fucking shot him.
You shot at him or threw a brick at his car or something. Yeah.
So he pulled over. I just kept going. And I got on the freeway and then
classy.
It really took off. But a water bottle a water bag on the side of one of those things and he's inside it. You know what I mean? It's a tube of fucking Echo.
Once you get out and you see that they're children and they probably had more water bags, you probably don't go, I'm going to kick this kid's ass in the street. Yeah. Like, and he's like that. Well, I'm getting the fat one. He looks like he's not as fast as the other.
Whichever one of you sick gazelles falls down is really
he's getting beat in the ear, which is fucking crazy, man. This remember Samuel Lepofsky, the guy across the street who drove him to scout meetings here. He said, quote, "We never had a problem with him. Jeff got along with everybody." Once again, and he was like, "I do not know what you're talking about." He ends up getting married here. He finds a woman who will put up with his bullshit. Good for him.
Not
I guess.
On having kids.
He finds Kiri Elizabeth O'Toole. Kiri, Kerie, Kiri, I guess. Elizabeth O'Toole.
How white trash I am. My sister's stepsister. Not my stepsister.
That's awesome.
No blood relation.
My sister's stepsister. I think I could marry her legally. I think I can, and I just might. So Jimmy's future wife, Kiri, his sister's stepsister's second cousin.
How much of a degenerate am I?
Holy shit! You're gonna get a big. I think your wedding present will be a very nice double wide. I think you should do it though. It'll be excellent.
So we'll just fucking join ours at the middle. We'll just stitch our houses together. That's probably where double wides came from, right?
Hold on, hear me out now. Now look. No, I know. But if you listen, goddamn, I know you don't want to take no wall. If we just get a can opener and we take off the outside, we push them together, we got twice as much trailer.
We'll get that zipper guy to just zip them together.
If we can zip a wall on, we can zip one right off. Why not? And put another one back on. What do you say? Here we go. We'll take the wall off. We'll save it.
Right.
We'll save it.
Just in case.
And we'll just use it in case we need it later. And then we can slap it back on. But I think it's going to work.
What we can do is take those walls and staple those together and make a driveway. And then we can just park on the wall. And then with the houses,
carport.
There you go.
We'll put it up.
We can fold it and bend it and shit.
That way in case it rains, you know.
We'll build like a big tunnel of love for our cars.
Ooh, we gonna make out in there. Jimmy's going to make out with his stepsister in there, baby. That's all I know.
Bring
it on, baby.
That's the most fucking depressing fact of ever.
That's pretty fucking...
My sister has a stepsister that's not related to me.
That's fucking awesome. So this Kiri, no relation to Jimmy, graduated from Weston High School in 1972. They're married on December 29th, 1984, and they lived at 166 Portland Avenue in Georgetown, a Georgetown section of Reading, as you might sound familiar, is the same address the boys lived in. They moved into this house. They lived there until 1993 when Ferguson, Jeffrey, and his wife Kiri, and their now 2-year-old daughter, they end up moving away from here to Powell's Point, North Carolina, which is a small town down there. And a woman named Dora Newburn knew them down there. She said that Jeffrey worked as a handyman. His wife worked as a special education teacher in nearby, Pasquotank County.
Sounds right to me.
Not bad. They said that the Fergusons lived in one of the better neighborhood in Powell's Point, where houses sell for about $120,000 back in the 90s, which in North Carolina in the 90s
$120,000
was a lot.
Fortune.
Yeah, my father moved to North Carolina for a couple years, like in 2000. And for $120,000, you could get like a really nice house down there. It was like cheap as shit. So they're down there. They live down there. His wife's a special education teacher. She's a nice lady. He's a handyman down there. So we'll go back to these boys here. The father, the Jack Froelich, who's the mechanical engineer, father of the one of the boys who lives there, he said that the boys moved in on September 1st. And Jeffrey Ferguson told them that if they caused any difficulties, he would come back to the house from North Carolina and he would be armed, is what he told them. The father said that he repeated this threat on more than one occasion.
Jesus.
So before they've even done anything, he didn't say, you're fucking up my house. He said, if we have any difficulties, I will get my gun and come up here from North Carolina, which is a very, very micromanaging part. It's a micromanaging landlord right there. Imagine if he had multiple properties. All he'd be doing is driving around the country with his gun in his car. God damn it. Again? Fuck. He'd be like Wyatt Earp, just going from town to town.
Can you be more specific about which problems result in gunplay?
Anything. Any of them. He said, quote, any difficulties.
Mr. Ferguson, but listen, let's say.
Is it difficult? Answer is car plus gun plus equals I'm in your driveway. That's it. Difficulty.
But what if, let's say.
Loud music, gun. Gun.
For the
hole in the drywall, gun. Back step loose, gun.
But what if, see, they like
repaint the walls, gun. Eggshell is fine. Flat paint, I don't care. You're going to live with it. No, I will not have a sheen on my wall.
What if you show up to pay rent, and you show up and the smoke detectors have a dead battery in them?
Oh, gun, done. Definitely a gun. Yeah, I'm gonna bring 2 guns for that one because you can fix that. No, gun. That's a gun. I'm sorry. If it's a difficulty, it's gonna be a gun. Okay. Any gun play. If you order a pizza and the guy can't find the place, I'm coming up with my gun. That's what I'm telling you right now.
I think we're on the same page.
Okay, good. Now we all know. So the father thought that was a bit much.
Yeah.
He said the son told him that, and he was like, Jesus, that guy must really care. Yeah. He really cares about his property. This guy is something else.
He's allowing 21-year-olds to live here. What the fuck is wrong with
them? That's what I mean. And they're not like, they didn't come in with khakis on and polo shirts. And like, we're here from Yale for the summer. Like, that wasn't what happened at all.
One's got like a Sun's Out, Guns Out t-shirt.
Yeah.
The other one's wearing an AC/DC shirt.
Yeah, like, woo.
And then the fun one's got the Who Farted shirt.
Yeah,
and he's renting a house to these kids.
There's like a bass on the couch. You know what I mean? They're eating ramen every single night. This is a ramen household. They're like, ramen or mac and cheese tonight? He's like, hold on, let me think about it.
They are counting change for gas money. And this motherfucker's renting them a house.
Renting them a house and threatening them with gunplay if anything should go awry in this home. Anything. No, there's no, he didn't no specifics, no bullshit, no fucking, look, if I come here and just any difficulty at all.
If I have to be here, there will be gunplay.
Well, let's find out if he's serious about this. What do you think about that? So Ferguson, like we've said before about he's made violent threats, he's done some crazy shit in the past. This is not something you'd put past them. But these people who moved in don't know that. The Frolics or Fralics there, they don't know what he say. He just probably sounds like a nut, and they're probably like, yeah, he's going to come back with his gun, whatever. Don't burn the place down, kid.
Hear what that motherfucker said?
Yeah, let's not.
He's going to bring a gun. He's out of his mind.
Come on, man. That's crazy. This is a beautiful town in Connecticut. Did you hear the crime rate here? He's not bringing shit. So 1991, let's go back to, there was a Richard Barry Marshall. He was a tenant of Ferguson's. Now, at one point, Marshall had been late in paying the rent. So this Ferguson comes to the apartment and demands payment for the rent, which that's reasonable. This Marshall guy told the defendant that he had certain rights as a tenant, including the right to make a payment up until the 10th of each month, because that's the law there. So this guy knows his rights. Ferguson, though, isn't so concerned about his rights as much as he's concerned with getting his money. So Marshall also tells Ferguson that if because Ferguson threatens to lock him out of the apartment. He goes, well, I'll just lock you out of your apartment. He says, well, if you lock me out of my apartment, I have the right to re-enter it. And, because I have rights. He's been late on rent before.
Renter research is his favorite.
Yeah, he's had some issues in the past. Anybody who can whip renter laws out like nobody's business has had some issues in the past that they've had to deal with to not get kicked out of somewhere.
I don't know what it is. I just know that they can come with the sheriff and be like, get the fuck out.
Yeah, but there's a lot of steps to go through before that. And he's saying you've gone through none of these steps. According to this Richard Barry Marshall, Ferguson said, okay, well, you told me something. I said I wanted money. Reasonable. You said I have legally till the 10th. Also reasonable. I said I'll lock you out. A little less reasonable. You said you can come back in. That's the law. So Ferguson answers that. He's like, okay, I'm out of legal things to say to you. So how about this? Well, if you move back in, I'll break your fucking legs. That's what he tells him. He's like, now we're past the point of rights.
Well, that's a bad
and
plan
laws
too, by the way.
And things like that. Well, yeah, that's not going to get him to move out.
No.
Try moving with broken legs. It's
now
not easy.
He's stuck in your house.
Yeah, now you're going to have to shove him down the stairs on a toboggan. There you go. How do you like that? Yeah, he's not going to move very quickly, and he's not going to get you your money. I mean, Jesus Christ, what kind of a this guy would make a shit loan shark. You know what I'm saying? He owes us a ton. Break both his fucking legs.
That's what it seems like. He's seen a movie or two and is like, I heard they break people's legs.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to tell somebody.
Yeah, they'll start out with things that won't keep you from earning. That's the point. Otherwise, it's like, well, how's he going to pay us back with broken legs? And so this guy, though, he's going to break his fucking legs. Marshall then ended up, he left town for a few days, and he comes back to the apartment to find that all of his belongings had been removed from the apartment and left on the porch of the apartment. So he's been gone for 3 days. He has no idea how long stuff's been outside, sitting on the porch.
Got evicted like a high school kid.
Yeah, he got evicted like a thief in the night here. Like this, he got evicted like Dookie from The Wire, where he just comes home and he's like, oh, not again, and everybody's shit is just out in the middle of the street because the landlord kicked him out.
Worst.
He's like, damn. So he had a Dookie moment here. He gets out. He goes, he finds everything there. Also, Ferguson changed the locks, too. So he just evicted him.
You can't even move your shit back in now.
Yeah, but it's fucking nuts, man. Yeah, you can't follow through on your plan of going right back in there like you promised. So what he does is Marshall, he tells this Ferguson here that he's going to call the police to get back in his apartment because he has a right to. So again, reasonable.
Yeah.
And Ferguson, again, this Ferguson's a reasonable guy. I will say that about him. Besides his hairstyle, very reasonable, level-headed man. This guy says, okay, fine. Here's my reasoned response to your reasoned response. Quote, call the cops. I'll go get my gun and go out in a blaze of glory.
Oh my, what?
So that is his threat. If you don't
leave, I'm going to shoot at the cops.
This is for late. This isn't for like he owed 6 months and he was holed up in there and he wouldn't come out and he's finally
2 weeks late.
He was not even. This guy's saying I have till the 10th and he's saying, oh fuck no. This is all going on pre-10th. This isn't like
he's not even giving the 10-day grace period.
He's not even giving him that. And he says, I will go out in a blaze of glory over a 10-day grace period, which is completely nuts. I don't even know.
I'll kill you and then I'll shoot it out with the police.
Over
over whatever you owe me.
You owe me money that you're going to give me like in 3 days, and you don't have it now.
Charge him a fucking late fee and move on.
Charge him a late fee, move on.
That would be the greatest because you're making more money.
Or start eviction proceedings against him, and then in a couple months you can kick him out.
Going.
That's fine. But you don't. I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory with his. It's a very. We've heard a lot about people going out in blazes of glory in this show and trying to go out in a blaze of glory. Yeah. And these are all people who have like killed 3 people. They just cut their child's head off and placed it on the mantle and then set their wife's body on fire. And then they're going to have you don't have to go out in a blaze of glory because this guy owes you $300.
And all those people are probably 3 months behind in rent.
That's fucking nuts. Yeah, this is crazy time. Fucking crazy time. So it's at this point that Marshall just gives up. Mm-hmm. This Barry Marshall, Richard Barry Marshall just gives up. And he's like, fuck it, never mind. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to, what are we going to cause a shootout over? He has all his stuff. So he's like, fuck it, I'll just find a place to go. And he left. So that wasn't the only tenant that's ever had a problem with Mr. Ferguson. Unfortunately, this Ferguson man, he
drives a hard fucking bargain, huh?
Well, I don't know if he drives a hard bargain, but he enforces a bargain like nobody's business. Yeah. We'll say that much here. There's another guy named Troy Harvey in 1993. This is right before the 3 boys moved in. Yeah. This Troy Harvey, in July of 1993, like I said, 2 months before everybody moved in here, Harvey was late paying the rent. Not, like I said, this isn't 3 months late. Yeah. This is like you don't have it on the first late. So Ferguson calls this guy. He calls Harvey and demands payment tomorrow. Okay. He thinks he's a mobster. He really does. He thinks he's a mobster, and this guy owes some vig for this week, and he's not paying it, but he's still trying to bet on the Boston College game. Like, that's how I feel like he's treating this fucking guy. Meanwhile, he's 2 days late on his rent, which is probably $400 or something.
Pretty average.
In 1991. Yeah. Who the hell? Nowadays, it would be very expensive, as we talked about in the real estate report.
This is a very average situation that happens daily in America.
Probably literally a million times a day.
It's happening right fucking now.
On the 6th or 7th of every month, there's a lot of people saying, hey, got that rent money? And none of them are like, I will go out in a blaze of glory. I will take law enforcement down with me and die by their gun. That's insanity. So anyway, he's late here. This guy's demanding payment by the next day. Ferguson then tells this Harvey guy that if the payment was not made, that Ferguson was going to go to the apartment, remove all of this man's belongings, and board up the place with plywood so he can't get in. He's got a strategy. Extreme. He's got a strategy. Yeah. Do you have the money? No? Okay, I'm going to take all your shit outside and board everything up with plywood and change the locks. Everything out immediately. Oh, yeah? And then the next step from that is blaze of glory. Right. He goes, do you have it? Plywood, blaze of glory, like fucking boom, boom, boom. Very quick progression with this man. There's not a lot between, hey, it's like 2 days late, do you have it? Right. And he's having a shootout with the police to the death. There's really not a lot of steps in between that. Not enough anyway, I don't feel.
Even the dude in L.A., like the dude from The Big Lebowski, even his fucking landlord roommate guy would come by, do you have the rent? And you're like, far out, man, I'll get it.
There you go.
That's how it should go. It shouldn't be, if you don't have your money right now, it's moving day.
Well, even Kingpin. Right. Even what Woody Harrelson had to do to pay the rent. But he was like months late.
Right.
He was like months
late.
late.
The box of an ugly lady.
It happens. And then Paul Simon plays as you throw up. It happens sometimes. So this poor bastard here, this Harvey, what are you even thinking here? He's going to board up the house. Mm-hmm. So Harvey tells him, this sounds familiar, I have rights as a tenant, and if you evict me and put all my shit outside, I will ask police for assistance in re-entering. And so Ferguson, again, are you expecting no. This has worked in the past to tell them to say, I don't give a fuck. So why not go for it again? He takes it a step further this time. He doesn't use euphemisms such as just going out in a blaze of glory with his gun, which could be interpreted. He could say, I didn't mean I was going to have a shootout with people. I just meant that I like young guns and John Bon Jovi. And I like when they put his song on the soundtrack of their movie. It makes me very happy.
I like when they put a guy that sings like 1992 music over. Well,
this is like 93.
1812 fucking activities.
Oh, yeah. That was, I think, Young Guns 2. I think they were getting desperate at that point for that. But
still pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, couldn't see that in Tombstone.
No.
Just start jamming some David Lee Roth post Van Halen.
White Snake as
this must be just like living in Paris. Like, what the fuck is going on? Why is this happening?
Why are they playing Panama over Wyatt's Revenge?
I don't think this is right. I think the sound editor fucked up.
That would be an amazing YouTube video.
Somebody out there re-edit the Wyatt Earp getting revenge scene, the whole montage
with Panama.
With Panama. If you line that up right, I will shit myself. You get an extra shout out. You get a shout out at the top of the show for that, because that would be incredible. And it's not that hard either. You really, I could probably do it, but I'm just too lazy.
All you got to do is own the DVD.
That's it, and rip it and take the sound and strip it. You know what to do if you can do that. If you have the ability to do that, you know what to do. So do it. And
that would be awesome.
Post it, and it'll make us really, really happy. At Murder Small on Twitter. Post it.
I will giggle for at least. I think
I'll
it's a 2 minute. I think it's a 2 minute montage.
Like it's a long one. It's fucking long. It might be longer than that because
the actual event took I think he took a 2-3 week vacation and he rode fucking everywhere.
That's what I mean. So this is
hunting these fuckers down.
So Panama would. It's a long song. It would stretch.
Probably went to Panama.
It probably went. You think that's what he was singing in his head while he was doing it?
Probably.
Just the horse.
Wyatt Earp or Kurt Russell?
Wyatt Earp himself.
Wyatt Earp probably was humming. He was humming a jazzy tune. Yeah. Kurt Russell was just fucking. That guy seems so cool. I want to hang out with him so bad.
That's fucking wonderful.
Him and Goldie Hawn were filming a movie, and they stopped into some town.
Oh yeah, I read that.
With Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, they're just nice.
And they just went inside and hung out with people.
Everybody likes beers. Kurt Russell.
I want to hang out with him.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Apart from Quentin Tarantino's rape apologies.
Yeah, really.
Apart from that, I kind of want to meet him too.
Well, he's made a lot of good movies anyway. I mean, but there's that. But Kurt Russell, that
guy's awesome.
He's beyond reproach. Yes. Nobody's ever made a damn accusation about Kurt Russell
yet.
So at this point, Ferguson tells this Harvey guy that if that's what he does, if you want to call the cops to help you re-enter, that's fine.
Right.
Do that. But if you do, I will, quote, blow your head off with a shotgun.
Oh, boy.
So there's that.
That's the phone. So you make that phone call, and I'm gonna clean it.
Feel free. You can use my phone if you'd like to use it. I mean, feel free. But I will blow your head off with a shotgun pretty much immediately after that. Then I will go out in a blaze of glory, as previously stated 2 years ago. That's still on the table. Blaze of glory is always on the table, and then I take it up from there and down and back and across and
take everything that's in your cranium off of your shoulders.
And then blaze of glory.
Right.
Always end it with blaze of glory.
Always shooting at cops.
So this Harvey sent his rental payment by express delivery the next day. So he fucking FedEx that shit fast the next day. He's like, you got it, pal. Blow your head off. Which that's a threat right there. I mean, that's nothing to shake a stick at.
Feels very police involvement ability.
I would say you'd want to. Let's take a look.
He needed Google. That's what.
Let's take a peek, shall we? It's one of those.
The 90s needed Google for this guy to figure this out. Is this illegal?
Yeah. Oh wow! Look at the renter laws, Connecticut. Holy shit!
Look at this.
Wow! I didn't know he does have 10 days. Wow! Hey, look! I apologize for all that blaze of glory stuff I told you earlier, but I thought you were pulling that out of your ass. I just Googled it. I know it's really cool. It's brand new. I just Googled it. Turns out you're right. I'm sorry. See, the internet would save so many arguments. Obviously, there's the old thing of every bar argument of who had more home runs in 1956 could be solved in 2 seconds with Google, but this could be solved too.
This is court records that you can't get that.
This whole thing could just be about he didn't know the laws, and he was like, "How dare this guy try to tell me some bullshit 10-day grace period law?"
Otherwise, you're at the library with microfiche trying to figure it out.
If he knew, I think maybe he would have been really reasonable. That's all there is to it. So Harvey did that. So he's got a history of threat. These are the only two people who have come forward and talked about his threats too. So who knows how many other people he's threatened or kicked out with a threat and they just left quietly, frightened of this crazy bastard.
Okay.
So back to the kids here, the 3 kids moving in
94.
In 94. This is 1994. Yeah, this is the neighbors said they sometimes played their rock and roll music, as they called it. They played that rock and roll music.
It's 1994. It's not.
They had
anymore.
A band. Right. No, they had a band. They played late into the night sometimes. But
this is when grunge was almost over.
Yeah. There's a lot of distortion.
Or
going
is this
on
like?
here.
Is it, no, this is when it's new.
When it's very popular. well, it's new to Middle America. It's very popular.
Live is popular.
Live. Nirvana's still popular.
Killing,
There's still Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and all that shit's really big at this point.
This is very grunge oriented. There's a lot of flannel in this house.
But they could have had Wu-Tang and Nas and all this shit was out, but instead they chose this. So whatever, that's fine. So
they're white kids in Connecticut.
That's true. That's the Boy Scouts,
right?
In the Wilderness
Boy
Society
Scouts
or whatever.
From the Wilderness Society in Connecticut.
In Connecticut, right. Let's talk. That's fine then. I'm surprised, and I'm surprised they weren't ultra into it. Actually, as a matter of fact,
that's a good point.
Yeah, because I remember kids like that from back there. I'd be like, where are you from?
Or Two Live Crew's like, you shouldn't be listening to us.
Maybe not.
Right.
So they said they would do that, but the neighbors didn't mind. They didn't mind. They were nice kids, and apparently, if you said, "Hey, I'm trying to go to sleep," they'd stop, say apologize, say thank you, and that was it. So they're nice kids. No one had a problem, and if they played their music, no one really had an issue with it. It wasn't a big deal. They never had any troubles with the law. Okay. None of these kids had any legal issues. They didn't have any. They never got kicked out of school or anything like that. Nice kids. One of the neighbors said, quote, "I would send my 15-year-old daughter over there when they were playing, and I wouldn't trust her to just anyone. I never heard any of them utter a profane word. They were always polite and generous."
Okay.
So they even said, like, I'd let my daughter go listen to the music, and I wasn't scared she would be raped.
It's a different time.
These are just, that's how nice of kids they think they are. Like, they're super nice kids. They play music, but they probably were playing Christian rock or something. I don't know what's going on.
Fucking Newsboys
Boy Scout rock, the early Creed.
Probably.
Some of that shit.
Scott Stapp, they're just impressed.
Good God. So these people here, so this is all going on. They're having a nice time. They're living the damn dream for young men or young people in general, just having some freedom. But March comes around.
Yeah.
March of 94 comes around. March of 95 comes around. Okay. They moved in 94. March of 1995, they pay the rent on time, not 10 days late. There's been no gunplay threats. The check bounces. There's now,
oh boy,
we're in some shit now. So
we got to pay the rent. I don't have any money. Write them a check, and in the meantime, let's figure out some money.
We'll figure it out. Right. Yeah, that sort of thing. Or they're 21. They might have.
And they're like, I don't know.
I think I got it. I think I got it. I hope it covers. Fingers crossed. I don't want to add or anything, but fingers crossed, guys. That'll do it. So they have these problems, and Mr. Ferguson here starts to begin eviction proceedings, legal eviction proceedings. He was trying to get the paperwork started for that, but he also had other things he would, do.
He's got to make a trip to Home Depot for some fucking wood.
That's the thing. He's got some action to take. He's got blazes of glory to plan.
Right.
You know how it goes. You know how it goes when you're going to go out in a blaze of glory, which will definitely be the name of this episode. So other people that used to hang out there, because they had kind of a crew. There was the 3 kids that hung there, that lived there, and then there was the crew that, the bunch of that young guys always have around them. And the 2, there was about, they said 6 or 7 of them that would come over kind of often, but there was 2 that were there all the time. A Sean Hiltunen, who was 22, and a David Gartrell, who everybody called, apparently his nickname was Jeeps, like a Jeep,
like a car,
like you would have liked him. Right. He has like a boat that they used to like to hang out on and shit. Like he's not a rich kid or anything. He's a landscaper, but he spends his money on shit like that. He's a very he's going to landscape all day, and boy, I'm going to go to the creek this weekend. Boy, it's going to be something.
Off in that creek.
So they had a cool hang pad. Good for them. Yeah, this David was a hardworking landscaper who was also a volunteer firefighter or fireman, either one of those, but not a fighterman.
That's now a fireman.
A fighterman. They called him. He was called by his unit a quote top-notch firefighter, as well as an exceptionally avid firefighter whose enthusiasm for the profession never settled down. Okay. That was by his supervisor. Yes, so people like him. He just moved into his own place, not in with these fucking nuts, but in his own place. So he's 26 though. He's a little bit older than the group.
Okay.
So he's like 4 years older than the group.
This is weird.
But he's kind of in the same path as them.
Sure.
Maybe he was a senior when they were freshmen.
Maybe he knew their brother. And
that's the thing.
Left.
Yeah,
right.
That's true too. I remember that. Yeah, I'd end up knowing people's older brothers because he was gone. I know that guy. He kind of looks like him. Whatever. I'll hang out with him. Same
I know
shit.
a dude named Chris's brother because he went off to the military.
It happens. Yeah, and all the time.
Then his older brother went off to jail. So whatever.
No. So then he said, "All right, fuck him. I guess they're both gone. Never mind. Never mind."
Right.
March of 1995. Like we said, the rent check bounces for Scott, David, and Jason's rent. Ferguson asks his friend, because he's down in North Carolina now, so he can't just zoom on over there, and threaten in person. And the thing is, I mean, you can threaten over the phone, you can threaten in a letter, which is, that's classy, I feel like, but it's tough to really get a good threat in unless you can be face to face. You know what I mean? An effective threat.
I mean, a lot can be lost in translation
That's the thing.
When I have my words up for you just to read, like a transcript of an insult doesn't look like an insult.
How many fights have you gotten into with your wife over a text that was misinterpreted in a different way? I didn't mean that. Don't put emphasis on this word. Put emphasis on that word, and it means a completely different thing.
Taking it all out of context.
But in text, you can't tell. So you got to go right to the door and threaten a blaze of glory. I feel like I feel personally. You got to go with the shotgun too. Yeah. But instead,
otherwise, you got to draw a picture of the gun
and send it to them and be like, "I have this," or just send them a picture of you holding the gun, smiling like.
Right, and then you take a picture, and you're probably going to crack a smile because it's a picture, and that's what you do.
And you look less threatening.
Right.
So you just come to the door, you say, knock, knock, blaze of glory, yada, yada, moving on. So he asks his friend, Ferguson does, a guy named Christopher Given, to try to collect the rent from these kids. They live in the upstairs apartment that's all by itself here. They told, the tenants answered the door for this guy. They didn't know who the fuck he was, this Given. They told him that the rent would be coming, and we'll have it in a couple of days. We're working on it.
Okay.
They're kids. We're working on it. We'll pull it together. And to tell that information to Ferguson, and everything will be fine. Ferguson heard this information, and like a mob boss who's owed money and told no, he said, that's not good enough. Not fucking good enough. You know what? That isn't good enough. He says, tell you what, I'm going to evict these fucking guys. I'm not taking this shit. This is not good enough. So he said, you can tell them or not tell them or whatever, but they're getting evicted. So
they've had 30 days to work on it.
They've had and finally he waits till March 29th, 1995.
Okay.
But we don't know if it's the first when the rent's due or what it is. We're not positive what the payment schedule is here.
But it's still only a few weeks.
It's still not more than 30 days. It's less than 30 days, definitely. So that's something. This guy drives from North Carolina to Connecticut.
Good Christ,
he
what
decides,
a drive.
the only thing I have to do is drive there, which is like a 12-hour drive. It's a fucking far drive. It's not a small
across
drive.
The border.
No, it's not a short drive. No. It's a day. It's a whole day. You're going to stop and eat something.
Yeah.
You're going to shit in an unfamiliar toilet.
Right. You got a lot of opportunities to change your mind.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Bombas.
Bombas, BOMBAS.com.
Oh, my God. These are the most comfortable socks in the world.
So great.
These socks are literally incredible. Yeah. I can't believe how comfortable they are. They're like having a bed for your feet and your shoe. They're amazing. They're so good. Bombas are the most comfortable socks in the history of feet, just like they say. A honeycomb arch support system that provides extra support where you need it most. They have a cushioned footbed, Jimmy. You need your footbed cushion.
Amazing at the gym.
Here, they will cushion your footbed. They have stay-up technology, which is 133 tension levels. Tension levels were tested to find out the perfect tension that stays comfortable and stays in place.
And it does.
And they did a really, really good job here. It's absolutely amazing. Super soft cotton that keeps you warm in the winter, but also cool in the summer. Now, in addition to having these amazing socks, they also have a one pair sold, one pair donated policy.
They do?
That is it. Socks are the #1 most requested item in homeless shelters. That's why Bombas donates one brand new pair of socks for every pair they sell. To date, they've sold and donated over 7 million pairs. Bombas, honestly, are the best socks I've ever had. They're fantastic. They're engineered for comfort, and they are fantastic. They feel, like I said, like little footbeds that make you feel wonderful. And all of you guys, our listeners, right now can get 20% off your first order of these amazing socks. Just go to bombas.com. That's BOMBAS.com, and you'll get 20% off your first order. Just use bombas.com/small, and then use the code SMALL at checkout. Bombas.com/small. Use the code SMALL. 20% off.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about TrueCar.
TrueCar.com.
Here are some useful car tips you might not be aware of.
Yeah.
A coffee filter and a little bit of olive oil can clean your interior.
That's handy.
Removing excess weight from your car will improve your gas mileage.
What?
And you can place your key fob in your chin to increase its range.
I did know that.
Weird, right? That's weird stuff. I actually have heard that too. Well, here's another tip you might not know about. TrueCar also helps people get good used cars.
That's true.
They really do. I'm telling you that right now from personal experience because we bought a used car through TrueCar.
Right.
And it was a great experience. Found the car we wanted. Got it at a great price. It was at the dealership when I went there, ready to go.
There it is.
It was the best, easiest way I've ever bought a car in my life. TrueCar isn't just for buying new cars. With their certified dealer network and nationwide inventory of nearly 1 million used cars, you'll enjoy real pricing on actual inventory and a simpler buying experience, whether you buy new or used. And with TrueCar, users can see what others paid, so they know if they're getting a good deal before buying. They're also more likely to enjoy a faster buying experience by connecting with TrueCar certified dealers. When you're ready to buy a new or used car, check out TrueCar and enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features are not available in all states.
Yeah, that's true. At TrueCar.com. And now back to the show.
So what he does is he drives all the way up there. He goes into the apartment when they're not there. He removes their stuff and puts a bunch in that glass atrium, and then puts a bunch outside. He recruits some help, and we'll have the details of this. And in addition to taking out the clothing and the furniture and other shit, he also removed the toilet and the thermostat. So like you can get back in, but you can't control the temperature or shit indoors. So I can't control the toilet or the thermostat.
That's awful.
And then nailed a large piece of plywood over the entrance to the apartment. So yeah, he breaks into the apartment, tore out the toilet, thermostat, and telephone also. He destroyed a sofa of theirs too.
Oh, what a dick.
Tossed that, threw a CD player and a VCR and a bunch of stuff into the driveway and broke the CD player. Back then you actually had to play a CD and a player, and a VCR was a very important item in your entertainment.
And the DVD or the CD?
A VCR was better than Netflix back then. If you had that, you ruled the world.
And a Blockbuster membership, get the fuck out of town.
You were done. You could do
but
see
a
anything
CD
you want.
player broke so easily anyway.
Jesus.
You get a little bit of...
just dust would break it.
You try to clean...
Oh, it must have been too dusty.
You try to clean the little lens.
Yeah, you get the disc that does it. Yeah.
You move the sticker that says "Do not touch lens" to fucking clean it.
You clean it with a little, with a Q-tip with some alcohol swab on it.
Because you don't have $10 to buy the DVD. The CD. Why do I keep calling it?
Not even a DVD.
That's how far out it is.
Yeah,
that's how gone the CD is.
That's so gone. Jesus Christ. Do you know that too? Like when they came out, this is a sidetrack, but CDs when they came out were very when a CD came out, like 1992, a tape was like $10, a cassette tape, and a CD was $20.
Yeah.
But the CD cost way less than the cassette to produce.
Right.
That's amazing.
They were
to me.
killing it.
They were just crushing printing money.
That's how Master P had so much fucking money,
and that's why Napster happened. And there's always backlash, Jimmy, and that's the thing.
There's a little bit of a revolt there.
If you're going to print money, then you're gonna end up getting turned upside down, your pocket shaking out.
Right. Napster, LimeWire, and Kazaa took it all down.
Took it down, baby.
How about that?
The whole industry.
Shit that you would chance ruining your fucking computer over downloading the wrong file.
Absolutely.
So that I didn't have to go pay $20 for this goddamn CD.
Well, kids didn't have $20.
Right.
This was teenagers that were like, I want 100 CDs and I can't get all 100 CDs, so I'll just get them, and a virus on the living room computer is the price we're going to have to pay. Sorry, Dad. When you look at those stocks, it's going to take a little longer.
Sorry.
And some dicks are going to pop up in your face, but that's life.
Sorry, your compact Presario's worth nothing now, but I've got $10 million worth of music.
Listen, I know I fouled up Windows 95. Let's talk about it, okay? It's fine. So...
Don't worry, YouTube will come out in a few years and you won't ever fucking...
You won't even worry about it.
Ever
It'll
again.
Be fine. So, So anyway, he throws all his shit in the driveway, some shit in the atrium, just tosses their shit out, basically. The father here, Froelich, whatever, he said, quote, he did this all without provocation. He was out of control. The whole thing was out of control.
I would say so.
Which it seems out of control. You wait for there's procedures that you do, and then you can have a sheriff come, and the sheriff will have them remove all their things, and then you can do whatever you want, because then it's yours again.
Sheriff is bringing a constable to tell him
there's a procedure for this. Absolutely.
Unroll a fucking scroll and read some decree.
I was going to say, and decree something across the land. He's going to decree.
And those boys will have to leave.
Yeah, he's going to decree that your VCR is no longer welcome here. So watch your pornography somewhere else. And scrolls it back. So he breaks in all their shit. Now these guys get back to their apartment and they see, holy shit. They estimate that there's $3,000 worth of missing and broken possessions in this whole mess, which is way more than they owe for rent.
Yeah.
So a few days later, they sue Jeffrey Ferguson for damages, claiming that his actions constituted an illegal eviction.
How about
it did. They also went to the police. And a couple days later, a warrant was issued for Jeffrey Ferguson's arrest for doing this. You're not allowed to break into people's houses. Landlord or not, if you break into someone's house and take all their shit out, that's burglary.
It's illegal,
you can't do that. Or there's different laws for the landlord state by state. But still, that's not legal. No. Just because you own the place, you're at that moment, you don't own that area. So anyway, at that point, shit gets worse for them. It's issued for his arrest, so he's not happy about that. They also the young men complained to town officials about conditions in the building.
Oh, white kids going to politicians.
They said,
that's great.
Yeah, they were like, oh, by the way, you got some building code shit that's not up to snuff. So if you want to play hardball, we can fucking play hardball.
Bring up all the wiring.
Did I mention my parents went to college and have more money than I do, and they can hire a lawyer. So they end up doing all of this. They say the plumbing was so bad that they sometimes had to use an outhouse.
Oh, no.
That's how bad it was. At least 2 inspections by town official discovered health and building code violations. The April 10th letter, which is 11 days later, from the town sanitarian, Roy C.A. Bradshaw, just going to make sure everything's clean, folks. Just going to make sure everything's fine. He's checking under people's nutsacks just to make sure, just going to make sure everything's spick and span, and he puts them back there. Lift your sack.
The sanitarium?
The town sanitarian.
A sanitarian. That is sanitarian. One letter off of being a fucking a nut farm.
Well, isn't it sanitarian? I guess so, but still, it's sanitarian.
2 letters. Whatever. Point is, that
sounds similar, but they mean way different things. You have to be insane
to do that job is basically what it means.
How clean do you have to be? I'm going to make sure everything's sanitary around where? Everywhere.
And if it's not, I'll sanitize
32 square miles. I'm going to make sure it's sanitized. I have problems with this studio we're in right now and make sure it stays clean. I'm like, fuck, there's stuff everywhere. This is insanity, though. So Roy C.A. Bradshaw wrote a letter to Jeffrey Ferguson saying there was no heat on the second floor, no toilet, a leaky roof, fire hazards, quote, non-payment of rent by a tenant does not entitle the landlord to deprive the tenant of heat, water, power, etc. is the letter that the sanitarian, the cleanest man in town, cleanest, this man's asshole you could eat a Salisbury steak dinner off of, as we've discussed in the past.
He comes in smelling of lemon pine salt.
He absolutely does. Yeah, absolutely.
You smell that?
What is that? That's my butthole. That must be Bradshaw's butthole coming. You should smell his armpits. They're phenomenal, like a spring forest.
Green.
Yeah, we both went to the forest for some reason on that. I like that. And we were like, we already went lemon. We're going forest.
He had to go somewhere else.
So these 2 people, as a result of this, and they have this letter now too from the city, which helps. Also, the 2 of the tenants institute a small claims action. I don't know which 2 of the 3 do it. I'm assuming the Freilich guy was involved because his dad seems pretty involved in all this.
Okay.
They file a small claims action against Ferguson for all the stuff they broke and back rent for shit not when it was broken. Reading officials, also separate officials from the city of Reading, also notified them of several building code violations. They discovered that he illegally converted a single family home into a 3-unit building without getting any permits.
None.
He got none of the necessary permits, and the house is in a zone where multifamily dwellings are absolutely prohibited. So he absolutely had no permits because what he did isn't even legal in that area, and there's no way to acquire a permit for that. So
he is now labeled a slumlord.
So now he's a slumlord who built his house into a 3-unit fucking
rental, jalop,
quote, in a shoe.
Right.
And then it's, so they had so many tenants, they didn't know what to do.
Right.
So that's what ends up happening. So they're telling him that he needs to resolve this, obviously.
Sure.
I assume there's some fines and some financial accommodations that can be made.
And you're going to have to go to the fucking meeting to get this rezoned, and if that doesn't happen, then you're just going to have to turn it back into
they're going to tear it off.
House.
Yeah, you're screwed. You're going to have to pay for it all, too. And you're going to have to get permits to do that, but you're going to have to also pay for it.
Take it all back to code.
Sorry. That's what it's going to be.
It's going to be expensive.
So he gets 2 more letters from about these violations, and the town officials order him to resolve these violations within the next 10 to 24 days. Or
it gets condemned.
I'm sure there's fining and things like that, or you start receiving this fine. And I think this is actually a criminal action, too.
Yeah.
Like, you'll be held in contempt if you don't do this. So that's a problem. He's also ordered, Ferguson is, to appear before the Reading Conservation Commission on April 18th, 1995, to respond to an alleged environmental violation on the property. This has something to do with the sewage, we think.
Yeah.
And the Reading Fire Marshal also informed Ferguson of several possible fire code violations in the building. So him being a crazy person just basically caused the entire city government to come down on his home and cost him an entire income property. Yeah. And this is going to cost him tens of thousands of dollars to not go to jail.
Probably hundreds of thousands.
To get this all fixed.
Resolve all of it?
And he's going to have to pay fines, and he's got fire codes. He's going to have to redo the plumbing. He's got to redo electricity. He's got to redo.
Because he
had to be a dick.
to affluent white kids that just didn't look it. Don't judge a book by its cover, sir.
And, what?
All that flannel, they know what they're doing.
They might not be, see, this is the thing. You might not be able to see the wealth on them, but the privilege is under there.
Oh, it's under there.
It was under there.
Yeah.
They had Connecticut suburban privilege, and they knew it.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. You can't fuck with people. Fuck with the Costa Rican immigrant.
Right.
That guy would have, slipped out in the night. You'd have never heard from him again. These kids are going to call their dad and be like, do you know anyone at the city? Because they're being total dicks. And then next thing you know, this guy's got violations.
Golfing with the mayor? Can you give him a call?
Anything? A councilman? You know any councilman, Dad? So
councilmen are the fucking worst. Those are the sneakiest fucks of all of them.
Because those guys
will just pass shit through in the middle of the night and nobody knows anything about it.
Because no one pays attention to local.
Because nobody gives a shit about anything. Councilman guy.
There's wars going on. We don't have time to deal with councilmen and what the hell they're going on with the stop sign at the end of the street. Who gives a shit? I don't have time.
But they're scratching all kind of backs.
Oh, definitely. I bet. That's a lot of golfing there. Mm-hmm. So on April 17th, 1995, a member of the Reading Police Department applies for an arrest warrant charging Ferguson with criminal lockout because he's not resolved anything. He's not doing what he's supposed to do. So they're like, all right, maybe an arrest warrant will, change his mind anyway. So that day, it's the 17th, he is down in North Carolina. Ferguson is, Jeffrey Ferguson. He rents a champagne-colored Ford Tempo, which is an awful car. Ford Tempo is a terrible piece of shit, and that Ford champagne color was awful. So that's just, wow, not a good car to have.
I think that was the answer to the Chrysler K car, which was also a
I thought that was the Taurus, though. The Tempo was like a shittier, smaller Taurus.
That's what it is. That's what the K car is. It's a tiny. The Reliant K was like it's like a
shitty LeBaron.
Yeah.
Jesus,
it's a tiny four-door, square,
Lord.
boxy piece of garbage, and the Tempo was not any better.
I had a friend that had a Tempo, and if you turn the radio up loud, the headlights would dim. So we'd have like a good song on, and you go to turn it up, and you'd be like, "No, dude, no, I can't see." Literally, like, I can't see. And sometimes we'd be like, "This road's pretty well lit. We can crank it up," and we'd crank it up, and he'd be fucking squinting, looking at the windshield, trying to see shit. You're like, "Dude, turn it down. There's curves coming up." Yeah. It's ridiculous.
I had a friend with a head gasket blown on his Tempo, and it sounded like the fucking car was going to explode.
That's what it sounded like new. The head gasket was just on top of that. That was pulling off the lot. The Tempo.
What a piece of shit.
So he gets it from the U Save Auto Rental.
Bet.
The U Save, with the letter U Save, where they have champagne-colored Ford Tempos. Is just a lot of them as far as the eye can see.
And then a few donkeys in the corner.
Well, that just in case.
Just in case the Tempo breaks down.
Well, it's in Harbinger, North Carolina, so there are people there requesting donkeys. That's the thing. Like, y'all got donkeys? Yeah. And they're like, we got Ford Tempos. They're like, no, that's pretty terrible. But
really like a donkey.
I'm looking for... I like the Tempo, don't get me wrong, but I feel like the donkey's more reliable. That's all I'm going to say. It's a little more reliable, and I want to listen to music, so I'm going to get that.
I got this portable CD player with anti-skip.
So I think it's going to work with the donkey better than the Tempo. The Tempo's a rougher ride, if we're being honest now.
I got bass boost.
You know what I mean? You ever had that bass boost?
Gonna get this donkey bouncing.
And you had the tape that would go into the cassette player to play in the car.
You had a fucking
from the CD
wire
player.
dangling out.
And then it was hooked up to there was 2 wires, because then it would be hooked up to the power source too, and the cigarette lighter. And then there's a tape in there, so if you move your hand accidentally up, it rips the CD player off the thing, it flies out, everything goes good, and the CD player's broken. CD's scratched the fuck up. That's the end of it. So
fuck.
He gets it.
Shit technology.
Shit, it was terrible. It's so, at the time, we were so excited about it. We were so incredibly excited about it. Listen to it. Don't move the CD player, though, because I know it's anti-skip, but it will skip anyway.
You got to twist the wire to get that short out of there so that it plays.
You know how it works. So he rents this piece of shit from Harbinger, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Ferguson's told the rental agent that he'd be using, I don't know why he told him anything, but he told him that he'd be using the car to visit his wife in South Carolina.
Okay.
Says, I'll be taking the car to South Carolina.
So I'm going that way, but in actuality,
I'm going the other way, babe. He immediately removes the U-Save auto rental license plate from the front of the car, because that's pretty identifying. It's just a plain U-Save license plate, so people would recognize that sort of thing. So you want to get that off the car. That's not terrific. He then leaves the rental agency at about 4:15 p.m. on April 17th and travels north to Connecticut. This is a 12-hour drive, and he's like, got my champagne Tempo, going to drive to the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Fuck it. So about 12:20 the next day, which she must have been flying the fuck up here, Spear, the woman who lives downstairs with the baby, or with the son, 5-year-old, left her first floor apartment and walked to the end of the driveway to get her mail. From the end of the driveway, she spots Ferguson driving the champagne Tempo, which is embarrassing. I can see why you'd want to hide. Never mind if you're planning on a crime. You just don't want to be seen in a champagne Tempo. I get it.
Especially people that are your tenants.
You want them to have respect for you.
Who think that you're better than them. Because you own this property.
You're getting no respect in a Tempo of any color. Never mind champagne. The only one you get less respect from is a Seafoam Tempo. I'm giving you nothing on that. Nothing. Fuck you and your Seafoam Tempo.
Rodney Dangerfield got more respect
than a Seafoam Tempo, and he deserved it compared to her. Right. I don't know why I called it her. So anyway, so she sees him, Ferguson. He was turning the car into a synagogue parking lot that abutted the property. That's right there.
The guy with the ponytail is going into the synagogue.
He's going to synagogue. Blonde guy with the ponytail.
In a Tempo.
In a champagne Tempo with North Carolina plates.
Right.
Although they said at the last moment he returned into the lane, like he started to turn in, and then he just jerked it back into the road and went straight along the road.
Nobody's going to believe this shit.
That's, like, oh, I'm not Jewish. What am I doing here? I left my yarmulke at home. Shit.
Right.
So as the car drives past her, she said that Ferguson turned his head away from her, so she could only see the back of his head and his ponytail, which is now a gray ponytail, which is the saddest thing in the room.
Right.
There's nothing sadder than a gray ponytail.
There's not.
That's like seeing like a completely destroyed, like gutted building in the Bronx in the 70s, or like one of those places. Like what is the place where the volcano wiped everything out and everything's Pompeii. Yeah. It's like Pompeii.
I can't believe I pulled that shit.
You pulled Pompeii.
How did I do that?
I was.
That was amazing.
I know it's not Vesuvius.
Right.
It's the other one,
amazing.
Pompeii. Thank you, Jimmy. That was pretty incredible. You're going to give yourself credit for knowing one thing, and I'll give you credit too, because you did know that one thing.
Amazing.
You deserve it. Let's not go crazy. So he's got his pathetic gray ponytail.
Yeah.
Nothing sadder, like we said here. Also, Spear noted that there was a North Carolina license plate on the car. Later that afternoon, Ferguson parks his car in the synagogue parking lot. Yeah. So later the afternoon, he actually goes through with it and parks there. It's parked with the tailgate against a wall that separated the synagogue from the property. Okay. So he's backed right up against the wall.
So you can't see a plate.
Right. And so I guess you could probably hop on the car and get over the wall quickly too. He's thought about this, we'll say here. So it's around 4:00. And this Altamirano guy that we talked about, the Costa guy from Costa Rica, he is in his apartment watching TV, hanging out. Got home from work. He's sitting there
watching Telemundo.
He's watching Telemundo. Out of nowhere, the screen goes blank, and he's like, "It was 1-0. Shit." Right. Clearly watching soccer. So, It's always 1-0. So he adjusted the cable box, but he couldn't fix it. And he's like, what the hell's going on? So he goes outside to try to figure it out, or he looks out the window to try to figure it out. And what he figures out is that Ferguson had cut the telephone and cable lines to the building. He's out there like a psychopath cutting cable lines and shit, which is creepy as fuck. So this Altamirano watches him out the window do all this, or, at the aftermath of this.
Yeah.
At several points through various windows of his apartment, he kept walking to each window to see what this guy was doing, because he's like, why do you cut my fucking cable off? Trying to watch the goddamn game here. So he had a clear view of Ferguson. He said he saw him clear as day. He knows him. It's his landlord. He knows who he is. At one point, he watched through a window in his bathroom. He saw Ferguson from a distance of only a few feet when Ferguson bent down at an oil tank pipe coming out of the ground at the base of the building. So that's, I don't know what he was doing with that. He did know him. Like we said, he rented him the apartment. Altamirano was one of the guys that helped Ferguson remove the shit from these kids' apartments. He knocked on his door and he said, help me move this shit out. I'm evicting this guy. And he's probably like, I don't want to get evicted. Sure. I'll help him. I guess they
anything
owe
for you, sir.
Yeah, anything. Exactly. Whatever. I'm not here legally, so we don't call the cops. Great. Whatever keeps everything calm and the cops not here is what I'm interested in here. So he'd met him before. He obviously knows him. So what ends up happening, a ladder ends up being placed beside one of Altamirano's windows.
Yeah.
And this provides access to the roof over his apartment.
Got it.
So there's a sliding glass door up on the second floor balcony there that he can get into the second floor apartment on. So he watches this guy climb up the ladder, watches Ferguson climb up the ladder and enter the second floor apartment through a sliding glass door. Now, once he gets into the apartment, right in front of him is Freilich and David Gartrell. They're sitting right there. So Ferguson shoots Freilich twice in the head.
Right now.
Gets in the apartment, opens the sliding glass door. No
bang,
words
bang.
are shot. Bang, bang. Shoots Gartrell 3 times.
Okay.
Shoots him 3 times. This is with a .22.
So he's got 5 shots fired now.
5 shots fired. They were all to the head, by the way, too. So he means fucking business.
Yeah.
Altamirano heard the gunshots, as did all the other neighbors that were there. He then took, Ferguson takes both of their bodies. They were dead, both of them, quickly. Takes both of them into the bathroom and puts Gartrell's body on top of Freilich's body. Stacks them up like wood, which is creepy when you start.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
When you start treating corpses like property.
Wood,
that's a little fucking weird. I don't like that at all. So then Auerbach and Truswitz and Hiltunen, they all worked in Stamford. They left work between 5 and 5:15, and they get home. It's about 35 minutes it takes them to get home. They arrive at the apartment, and Ferguson's just hanging out in the apartment with 2 dead guys, just chilling. As they come into the apartment, he shoots each one of them as they walk through the door.
Wow.
Just like a stack of, like a clown car. Just pop, pop, pop. They fall down. Once they get inside, he shoots them, but in the order they came in.
Right.
He's very organized, I guess. You know how it goes. When you're OCD and you're shooting people with a .22, these things happen here. So he shoots, Hiltunen was shot twice, once in the head and once in the neck. Truswitz was shot once in the head, and Auerbach was shot twice in the head. So now he's shot everybody.
Everybody's shot.
Everybody's shot in the head. This is fucking crazy. So what he does now, this isn't enough, okay? He said he promised a blaze of glory.
He did.
So he says, let's have a blaze of glory. He pours an unknown accelerant, they think possibly gasoline or kerosene, on top of 4 of the bodies and sets them on fire.
Wow.
In his own place.
And there are people there downstairs.
And there's a child there.
Yeah.
There's a woman, a child, 4 other dudes. There's a lot of people in this building. He also uses this accelerant to set fires all over the second floor apartment, and then goes downstairs, starts setting fires in the basement as well.
What the fuck,
so,
man?
As if that's not bad enough, let's have the fire attack this child from both sides, for fuck's sake. So this is... Wow, that is terrible, man. That's a blaze of glory, though. I'll give him that. He's not full of shit.
Sure.
That's definitely a blaze of glory. So he sets everything on fire. The neighbors, as they run out, they're trying to run out. They find Auerbach hanging from the spiral staircase in the glass atrium, still alive.
He's
shot.
Trying to climb out?
He was trying to crawl down the stairs or something. He was shot and trying to get away. So they take him down. This is crazy because he's been shot and attempted to be burned. So he's still alive, but he's in really bad shape. Sure. They take him on the way to the hospital in the emergency vehicle, in the ambulance. He tells the emergency workers, quote, "It was Ferguson."
Oh boy.
So that's a statement right there. Yeah. So that's a big deal. He ends up dying on the way to the hospital, this poor kid.
God damn it.
So 5 people, all under 30 years old.
So fast.
Dead in a heartbeat over over a fucking rent dispute.
Unbelievable.
How much money are we talking? Honestly, what's a month's rent? What were we talking about?
$800, $1,000.
What the fuck are we talking about? To where this is nuts. I mean, the guy, he was serious about everything he said,
he wasn't kidding.
Jesus Christ, man. So he tells him it was Ferguson. Everybody's dead. Five deaths. All the shots were from a .22 caliber pistol. Matches up. They said the bullets are consistent with the one that he is registered to own, but they never found this gun, this particular murder weapon. They never do find it. I'm sure he had a plan for that too. So after he sets them on fire,
I'm sure there's a lot of bridges between Connecticut and North Carolina.
There's woods everywhere. So he kills them. He sets fires to the bodies, burning the building to the fucking ground. He then leaves the scene. He just takes off and drives south. He's like, all right, back to North Carolina with me. Like nothing happened.
That's done
now. Well, I had to kill 5 people and burn that building down. I hope I can get there before it closes. Like he's looking at his watch. Hope I can get to Costco because we need paper towels. I'll tell you that right now. So he kills all these people. He then drives. He stops in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, where he calls his father-in-law, who is in Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Okay.
He continues. He tells him he's coming down there. He keeps driving to his father-in-law's condo, and he arrives late in the afternoon on the following day.
There are a lot of condos there, but I've been to a few. It's a nice place, Hilton Head. That's awesome.
People like it there. That's a damn fine area of the country if you want to hang out. Yeah, my dad lives in North Carolina, not Hilton Head, but in South Carolina, and he fucking loves it. And if you're into that, you're into
amazing.
That. So this is he gets down there. He hangs out briefly with the in-laws, and he spends the night in a motel in Wade, North Carolina. Okay. So he's in Wade, North Carolina with a champagne Ford Tempo from the U-Save auto rental in Harbinger, North Carolina. This sounds bad.
It's gone downhill.
This is where you take stock of your life and you turn that 22 on yourself.
You know, when I grew this ponytail, I didn't think this would. I didn't think this would happen.
That ponytail's like rings of failure, like his tree rings, but a failure.
It's depressing.
A gray ponytail that's the good point. A gray ponytail is the same as the rings of a tree. Yeah. You can see how old the failure is and how long the failure's been going on by the length and grayness of the ponytail, like rings in a tree. So it's true. If you know anyone with a long gray ponytail, they're probably not happy people or failures.
They haven't figured it out yet.
Unless they're like some kind of rock star who's just like, unless like Don Henley decided to throw a ponytail on or some horse shit like that.
I don't think he can grow one.
I don't know if he's bald. I have no fucking idea. No idea, but I'm just saying some old 70s.
I could see it.
That's fine. He's all right.
Joe Walsh had one for a long time.
If you have over $30 million, fine. Knock yourself. Otherwise, you're a dirtbag. If you're a handyman in North Carolina, you're a dirtbag. So
and slumlord.
And a slumlord. And a Connecticut slumlord. So the next day, he returns the Ford Tempo to U-Save. You don't want to get hit with a late fee from U-Save. They'll come right after you. Rental laws, that sort of thing, murder, violence, not so much into that, but that rental contract is gospel. He will not break that shit at all.
Up with gas.
He didn't get the insurance, so it's got to be back. Way. So he backs the car into the space in the rental lot and then reinstalls the U-Save license plate, screws it back in the front of the car, which was good of him to remember that.
Sure.
Over the 3-day period, he had put 1,929 miles on the car.
Wow.
Which is a lot of miles in 3 days.
Oh, my God.
And I would say, and forensic tests, the forensic tests of a piece of one of the victim's charred clothing and of a floor mat in the rental car indicated that both have been exposed to the same type of petroleum-based accelerant. So they matched the car with the
charred shit on his shoes.
Charred shit on the shoes here. So April 21st, 1995, he is arrested finally down there. He's arrested in Powell's Point, North Carolina, which is where he lives, and he's charged on a fugitive warrant Not with murder yet, because they're gathering evidence and shit still. He's charged with larceny and criminal lockout of a tenant.
Okay,
so he's charged with stealing and locking the kid out. Right. So that they know they have him on. So Connecticut officials wouldn't say right away whether he would face the murder or arson charges because they were putting the case together.
Yep.
But he's being held in lieu of $500,000 bail.
That's steep.
That's steep for larceny.
Yeah.
That's a lot of larceny. That's larceny and criminal lockout of a tenant, $500,000. That has to be the highest bail ever set for that.
You know, there's never a crime that the word petty is, you know what I mean? There's never like petty murder. There's only petty larceny.
There's petty larceny, though.
And
yeah.
so you're charged
petty
and held on a charge that could be
nothing.
A petty something.
Yeah, it's a ticket.
$500,000.
$500,000 because there's an extradition hearing possible for Friday morning. Because most larceny charges will get you extradited with $500,000 bail. They never just let that go.
Right.
So the reaction of the town is fucking interesting.
Yeah.
The people are shocked that New Ferguson, they're like, well, I don't know anything about this. His next door neighbor in North Carolina, who's lived there next to him for a year, said, quote, I was completely shocked. If I made up a list of people I'd known that would do something like that, he would not even be on the list.
Really?
He said he was a friendly person, not overly friendly, but if your house were on fire, he'd come running with the hose.
Well, I know a house that he didn't.
In other words, he'd piss on you if you were on fire, but that's an odd analogy that he brought up. If your house was on fire, he'd come. Now, if it was his house, burn that fucker to the ground. If it was his house and your children lived inside, you're going to die.
Have you heard what he did?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. The father, the Jack Freilich, says he doesn't believe that a bounced rent check and over the course of less than a month could have caused this.
Right.
He said, quote, it's just senseless. They enjoyed the apartment and they really liked it there because it was a place of their own, which that makes sense.
Yeah.
They said they talked about he talked about the small claims court and everything like that. Freilich's mother said she's not interested in the continuing investigation. She doesn't even give a shit what happens. She doesn't care if they put him in jail or not. She said, quote, the damage is done. I don't think the whys and wherefores are significant to me.
Yeah.
That is the most reasonable. That's a person who's just numb.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't even fucking care. Like, he's fucking dead. Like, that's so sad right there.
This would have been maybe the best episode of People's Court ever. Like,
yeah. Oh man.
This would be national news if they would have taken him to Judge Wapner and then won. And then he burns the place down.
And then he threatens, if you find for the plaintiffs, I will go out in a blaze of glory. Doug Llewellyn, so help you God, I'll put a bullet between your fucking eyes. Rusty the bailiff, touch your fucking hands off me. Swinging.
Would have been a great People's
That would have been a great
and
one.
Forget Judge Judy. She would have dressed him down for that ponytail in a second.
He would have left.
You're gonna walk into my courtroom wearing that shit on your head?
He would have left chastened. It's gray. Right. You know your ponytail's gray, right? That means it's over. It's over.
Shut up.
Shut up. No, actually, I put, shut up. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about your conditioner.
What amazing.
So their parents are just so in shock of the whole thing. They said they felt bad because they kind of pushed their son out of the house. Yeah. They kind of said, you need to go get your own place. But for his own good. They said he wasn't fucking up. They just thought he needed to start making his own life. And they said, why don't you go spread your wings, get a place with your friends? And I guess he resisted initially, and he later thanked them. But now the parents feel horrible about this.
Because dad did it so that he could nail mom in her twilight years before it's over.
Yeah.
And now he's like, ugh. I just wanted pussy.
Yeah, the mom said, that's all I was looking for is a little tail.
I was just getting him out of the house so I could bang his mom.
I was just trying to get him some tail, too. I thought he'd do much better.
Go get some tail. Maybe I could get anal.
And we wanted to get weird. Right. I wanted to play porn with the volume at full blast because that gets your mother going.
Right.
Now, cover your ears if you have to, but that gets your mother going. Right. She's got a dildo you got to fire up. That thing takes 2-stroke oil like a goddamn dirt bike.
The smell's amazing.
I got that going. I can't have people in the house when that's going on. It's got a fucking kickstand on, and it's terrible. So
I just want to get a blowjob and reach over her and put a digit in her every now and again. I can't do that with a 21-year-old in the house.
I want to do that in the kitchen. I want your mother to know what the cold linoleum feels like on her knees. You know what I'm talking about? Let me ask you a question, Jason.
Jesus Christ.
That's fucking
the cold linoleum.
That is fucking awful. That's awful.
I want to put an ass
people.
print in the fucking hardwood floors. That's what I want.
You know I'm gonna. Oh, man. So the mother here said after she got up from the linoleum, these poor people lost their son and were assholes. But sorry, it's funny. She said, quote, they knew how to have fun, but I think they were all quite bewildered by adulthood. They didn't know how to slide gracefully into the adult world, but they were trying. Yeah. That's what you are when you're 21, 22. You're trying to figure out who the fuck you are. Right. Now, Ferguson's neighbor the old guy, the Samuel.
Guy that said he was so nice.
Great kid, all this. Now, all of a sudden.
Played stickball, shit like that.
More, yeah, now he's got more. He says, quote, when he first heard about it, he said, quote, I said I don't believe this, but we have to judge this by our experience with him. He was a normal child. He was a polite young man who we've never had a problem with. He repeated that again. Okay. Right. He's got another statement coming. Don't worry. Way different statement there. Yeah. He says that this guy, they still have contact with his mother and with Ferguson's 41-year-old twin brothers. They talk to them. So they're a nice family. Leave it the fuck alone. Now, Kiri Ferguson and their only child, here were staying with her parents in Hilton Head. She was a special education teacher, like we said, up until that very moment when she decided to go hang with her parents in Hilton Head. Ferguson waits in a jail cell to be extradited. They say that he shares a tiny cell, this poor bastard, with a local man serving a sentence for drunken driving.
Oh, no.
He's like, what are you in here for? He goes, I blew like a .12. And they're like, yeah, that sucks. What are you in here for? That killed 5 kids, set them on fire, almost burned a child to death. You know how it goes. Blaze of glory, right? Yeah. And he's like, I thought I had 2 beers and I had 3. So that's why I'm here.
I cut a left turn without stopping. That's what I did.
Thought I could make it.
And I was drunk.
Man, that happens.
Right. And you did what? Say again? 5?
5?
And almost an immigrant? Jesus.
All under 30, huh?
Right. All of them with their whole life ahead of them?
Whole life ahead of them,
right.
Huh? Good deal.
That's amazing.
So at trial, the prosecutors depicted Ferguson as an enraged landlord who gunned down the tenants methodically and obviously said he tried to cover up the crime by setting the house on fire and driving away, which seems reasonable. Right. The Altamirano guy gave a statement to the police. He said that he identified Ferguson as the person he'd seen walking outside on the day of the murders. He said it was the defendant, obviously because he'd met him before. Mm-hmm. He said that he saw him climb up the ladder. They asked him to describe later on, August 7th, 96, the next year before, when they're getting the court shit ready to go. He still remembered what he was wearing on the day of the crime. He said he was wearing a long sleeve coffee-colored T-shirt, dark jeans, and a dark-colored baseball hat. Okay. And they said, what about the shoes? And he said, I didn't take note of his shoes. This guy's not fucking lying. Yeah. Like he's getting his shit together. There's a photograph here that was produced from a security camera taken at a mobile station near the house. There's a black and white photograph that depicts a man with a ponytail wearing a dark baseball cap and the same kind of clothes. Right. The man in the photograph is seen from the side, so his face is hidden. And it's a 1994 surveillance, a screen capture of a 94 surveillance camera.
Some of them today are pieces of shit.
On like a 46-hour tape, you know what I mean? And you can't see anything on.
I love that on the news where they're like, if you recognize this man, make a phone call to Eyewitness because
you recognize this gray pixelated blob.
You recognize this gray and bluish color shit.
He's got a little blue there. See
There's
that?
Some blue
I don't know what that is.
I don't know. If you know that guy, call us. Fucking, that's anybody.
That's fucking amazing. Well, what they end up doing is there's this photograph, and the defense makes a big deal of it because there's a photograph from one of him. There's one of Ferguson from this mobile station. Then there's one later on of someone who looks like him, but isn't him because it was when he was driving south.
Got it.
So they're trying to say that Altamirano, when he looked at them, he said he thought that was the defendant too. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to make a big deal of he as a false identification because he thinks that these grainy photographs of people who look really similar are the same, and so if he can't tell that apart, then obviously he can't make a real life identification from 3 feet away of a man who he knows well, who he pays rent to and helped move furniture with.
If you had told me that you went to Boston during the time of the Boston Marathon bombings, that one dude kind of looked like
That's what I mean. Who knows?
And that was just a few years ago.
That can happen.
So this shit is ridiculous.
You can't just go by that. So he's trying to pull that shit. They said that they're trying to say the mobile photograph would establish a third-party culpability defense. Like they're saying, it wasn't my client that killed this guy. It was this mystery man from the mobile with the ponytail. That's who he saw.
Bojangles defense.
Yeah, they literally. That's exactly right. The defense with their thing was, you're just using this rent dispute as a convenient way to blame my client when clearly a lookalike did this crime for no reason.
Yeah.
Not only the coincidence, not only of all these people killed who happen to be in a dispute with this man, but the person who did it looks and dresses exactly like him. That is fucking remarkable. And that is his defense, which makes OJ's defense look super reasonable. Like, yeah, of course, the entire police department. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Like, that's what's going on. OJ. Yeah, that's what's going on here. Like, that's ridiculous. Obviously, the court doesn't. They're kind of like, no, you're full of shit.
This is stupid.
And there's a verdict here. The verdict comes in after 14 hours of deliberation.
My God.
There's an eyewitness.
They drive to Hilton Head?
That's what I mean. Well, they're saying it's funny too, because they didn't go after like death penalty on this, because then there's 5 murder charges and everything. They don't go after the death penalty because they say the evidence is too circumstantial, and they're afraid that the jury would acquit rather than put someone to death.
Try him again.
And then he's fucked. Right. So they were like, let's go easy.
Yeah.
After 14 hours of deliberation, they come back with guilty on 5 counts of murder, 2 counts of capital felony murder, 1 count of arson in the first degree, and 1 count of arson in the second degree. Those are all bad charges.
Yeah, that's steep.
He's looking at life in prison for all of that. Now, the old man is back again.
Okay.
Samuel Lipovsky or whatever. He comes back. He said, "Oh my God," is what he said at the end. He said, quote, "I feel bad about it, not because he killed someone, because he really didn't have a good life." Jesus Christ.
What are you saying,
said he didn't get along in school. He bullied everybody. It's a shock.
Oh, he now remembered something.
Now he's saying that he didn't get along with anybody in school, wasn't a good student, didn't have a good life. Before he was like, I was great. I lived next door to the parents. They're terrific people. He said he bullied everybody.
Sounds like somebody's been sitting with his mom for the past few days, and mom's going, "Why would this happen? How could I have missed it? Were there any warning signs?" And then she's going, "Well, he did bully that kid."
I feel like this old man just wanted his name in the paper.
Yeah.
I have new information. I'm old. I forget things. Now I just remembered. He's actually a piece of shit.
Last time you guys wrote about me, I had all kinds of phone calls. So let's do this again.
No shit. The father here, John Freilich, said, quote, "The first guilty was tremendous. I was certain he was guilty. I was positive Jeffrey Ferguson was guilty. He was the only one who could be involved in any way with harming those boys," which again makes sense. He's going to be sentenced later on. The supervising assistant state's attorney said, "I feel dazed, relieved, wonderful, and ecstatic. You just never know what a jury is going to do. This jury worked really hard. It took them 3 days," which if it took them 3 days, I don't think they were working real hard to come up with that one here. Defense lawyer said they had the wrong man. They said it's just convenience. This is all just a convenient mistaken identity here, which is nuts. It's fucking crazy, man.
That's just a brave thing to say.
Yeah.
In front of a judge, you're just like, wrong guy.
Wrong guy.
It's totally not him.
The death penalty also, they'd have to show that Ferguson tortured his victims or intentionally inflicted extreme pain, which he kind of intended to execute them quickly, so that doesn't really match up. Although the one guy ended up in extreme pain dangling off a fucking atrium staircase.
With his legs on fire.
With his legs on fire, yeah, absolutely. So David Auerbach, who's Scott Auerbach's father, said, quote, "The tragedy of this is that Jeffrey Ferguson, the monster that he is, has a wonderful mother, wife, children, and brothers." Well, that's nice. He said, quote, "They are going to have to live with this too. Our hearts go out to them."
He's trying to bang his mom.
I guess, he's like, I see availability. But that's a fucking nice man right there. I wouldn't be so fucking nice. I'd be like, they're all pieces of shit. They produced that asshole. What the fuck are we going to say something nice about him?
But I'm going to see if her old ass knees can feel the cold linoleum.
Jesus Christ. Janet Auerbach said, quote, "I'm relieved and glad it's over. He was guilty, but my son will never come back." John Freilich was really, really pissed off that Ferguson showed no emotion outside of didn't do anything when they read anything. He said, quote, I don't know if he was born evil, but I think he is evil. This man showed no emotion when he was shown the pictures of those boys' burned bodies. He was stone cold, ice cold. If he was innocent, he would have shown some emotion. His murders and behavior in Reading, it was so cold and calculating. So I can tend to agree with that. June 11th, 1998 is sentencing. John Freilich is there, of course. He's the father of the victim, and he says, quote, in court here in the victim impact, he says, quote, you never met our son. Your first encounter with David was when you sadistically murdered him. You may you rot from the inside out, Jeffrey Ferguson.
Jesus.
Damn. Not bad. Fuck you. That's a talk about a fuck off, right?
Shit your heart out.
That was the better fuck off that you, sir, may fuck off. That's better than the judge right there. May you rot from the inside out. So they ask him if he would like to say anything before he's sentenced, as you're supposed to then beg and say nice things and try to get 20 years knocked off. Right. He instead starts speaking the lyrics to a Celine Dion song.
Get out of here.
Because You Love Me.
Get out of my life.
That's what he did.
No way.
That's all he said. He said nothing else, but he still has a stupid ponytail on. He said that...
How amazing is that?
He said it was from a letter that his wife wrote him to express her love and support for him. And he included lyrical snippets from the song as, quote, you were always there for me. You gave me wings. You're the only one who saw me through it all. And then he quoted that literally, folded the letter, sat down, said nothing else.
Unbelievable.
He said, here's some Dion for you. No, not that Dion, Celine Dion.
I want to leave you with a cut off of Celine's new album.
Check it out. Boom. And then he sat down. That's daring the judge to sentence you to as much as he possibly can. That's a fuck you to the whole court. Jesus Christ. So the trial court completely didn't know what the fuck was going on here. They ended up merging the predicate murder convictions into their capital felony convictions and imposes 2 concurrent sentences of life in prison without the possibility of parole. You, sir, may certainly fuck off
forever.
Also imposed a sentence of 25 years for the crime of first-degree arson to run concurrently with the one of the capital felony convictions, and 25 years imprisonment for the crime of second-degree arson to also run concurrently with other capital felony conviction. So, fuck you, you're in there forever.
That is 5 capital murders,
That's
correct?
5 capital murders.
My Christ.
Now, he has an appeal we'll talk about very briefly because the one thing he says is hilarious. I had to read through a giant fucking 40-page appeal, and I found one funny thing, and I have to share it with you.
You are the wind beneath my wings?
Yes, he did. He said, I have my appeal. I raise you Bette Midler. I appeal you Alanis Morissette. So after he reads from Barbra Streisand's catalog,
hits us with some lyrics to Ironic.
That's what he does. His appeal based on, there's a ton of shit that this appeal is based on, a bunch of bullshit, but the one that made me laugh is the jury array challenge. He contends that the trial court improperly denied his constitutional challenge to the jury array. Specifically, Ferguson claims that there was an underrepresentation of Hispanic persons in the jury. He's not fucking Hispanic. What difference is it? His name is Jeffrey Kent Ferguson. He's a fucking dipshit with a ponytail. What the fuck does he care if there's fucking Hispanics on the jury?
Wow.
What the hell is wrong with this fucking guy?
There's fucking 1% in this town, sir. Calm down.
Yeah. Also, there's a thing where they say the Alta Moreno guy, all of his testimony is garbage because he's an illegal immigrant. They said he'll say anything the state tells him to, and he's just a tool of the state. And they also say the judge gave wrong instructions on reasonable doubt, but they were literally like trying to do semantics of a word.
Got it.
And it was pretty silly. So they deny him all of that. He's in prison for life, just dead, going there. You're in prison, you might as well be dead. And then on May 7th, 2003, he takes it a step further and goes out in a blaze of glory by fucking strangling himself to death in prison. He dies as a result of asphyxia due to ligature strangulation, tied something around his neck. The police did specify that he didn't hang himself, though. There was some kind of strangling.
Some knot he tied.
Some Boy Scouts, back to those knots. He's like, the square knots, baby.
Oh, my Christ.
So he tied up a good knot.
I can make a fisherman out of these sheets.
And so May 7th, 2003, he's dead. All the kids are dead. Scott David Auerbach is buried in the Umpqua Cemetery in Reading. Sean Hiltuin is also buried in the same place. Auerbach has like a picture of him on his stone kind of a thing. Cool. It's kind of neat. And the Hiltunen has something in German written on his stone, which is not comforting. No, I wouldn't think there.
That's frightening.
The other ones, we don't know where they're buried. It's not public information, but I assume maybe they buried them all in the same place because
fingers crossed.
Parents are really much like they were all really close and they loved them. Yeah. But that's Reading, Connecticut. That is Jeffrey Kent Ferguson and his fucking insanity.
Truly.
And fire and blow your head off. And that's my favorite, though. Wow. Go get my gun, go out in a blaze of glory. No problem.
This is why you buy a house.
It's crazy.
Jesus.
This is why you buy a house. Everybody be happy. No rape. Nobody had anything shoved up their ass this week. Nothing like that. No children's head were found in any cavities or anything like that. Things are going good.
He likely said, "I'll jam it up your ass." Something.
I'm sure there was a threat, but who knows? It didn't actually happen. Right. So, huzzah! Good for us. If you like that show and you want to tell us how excited you are about the lack of rape, you can do that by going to iTunes, giving us 5 stars, and telling us something. Doesn't matter. Something positive would be nice. It's not for our egos.
Tell
it's
us
just
to be at a live show.
That would be great. It's just for business. And if you want to find out about those live shows very soon, you can do that over at shutupandgivememurder.com. Everything there. You can follow us, which is at Small Town Murder on Instagram, at Murder Small on Twitter, Small Town Pod on Facebook. Just look us up there. There's also links that will get you to patreon.com/crimeinsports to donate. Also over to paypal.com where you can use our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com to donate. And also you can buy all your merchandise and all that good shit.
Yes.
But never mind all of that because that's not as important, Jimmy. You know what's important? Yeah. I would like you.
Followed your instructions.
Jimmy, go out in a blaze of glory and hit me with that list right now.
This week's executive producers fucking every week is Chrissy and Cristaldi.
Thank you so much,
Chrissy. Brinley, what does that say? Richardson. Brinley Richardson and Elin Warren.
Thank you so much.
Thank you both very much.
We can't thank you enough, honestly.
They're in the same house, so thank you both.
You keep the lights on. We appreciate it so much.
And Teresa Lazari. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
guys
Teresa.
are fucking amazing. Thanks so much.
Thank you. On the bottom of our hearts, we can't thank you enough.
Honest to goodness.
Our children, thank you. Thank you.
Gavin McFarland, Todd Crago, who actually indeed is white. Zulamar Lucina obviously is not. Jess Mullins, Temry Iverson, or Temry?
Oh, yeah. I saw on Twitter.
What she is.
Twitter. I saw her,
I don't know how to pronounce that.
I don't either.
Nathan
Little. Thank
you. Justin Luetger. It's got to be Luetger.
We'll take it.
Surely.
Thank you.
Tina Leary. She donated on both. Thank you so much, Tina.
Well, thank you. That's heroic
Alex
behavior.
East and Ashley. I don't know what Ashley's last name is. I'm assuming
Thanks,
East.
Ashley.
I'm assuming.
All right, Alex and Ashley.
Melissa Tuttle. Kaylin Owen says happy birthday to Liz and Maggie. Luz and Maggie.
Happy birthday.
Listen, I'm not good at reading these fucking donations, comments. I treat them much like iTunes reviews. Where I don't get to read the words. So sometimes I do, and I catch the ones that tell me to do something, and so the ones that I don't, fucking sorry.
Sorry about that. We try.
I got your name, though. Somebody donated last week, wanted me to wish happy birthday to somebody, and I got the donator, but not the person.
It's so hard enough just to produce 5 hours of show every week. To stay on top of all this shit is really difficult. Brutal. So we truly apologize, and we try our best, and we will try harder. We always will. We're trying. We're trying as hard as we can. We're trying.
Shit, digging deeper is going to be tough. But thank you, tough. Ashley Boxler, Kara Simono. Yes. She donated on both also. Thank you.
Thank you so
much.
much.
And so did Zach Cornell. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you,
Zach. Ben Brixius. God damn it. I'm doing my best. Nick Laycock, Cherie Holland, Sarah D'Antonio. Yes.
Thank you.
Ryan Baylor, Nicolette Kiseleff. That's a fucking...
That's got some rhythm to it.
Yeah.
Nicolette Kiseleff. That sounds like a song. Yeah, that sounds like a song. That sounds like a Miami Sound Machine song.
That's beautiful. Shane Irish.
Gloria Stefan's going to fucking flare that shit.
Garrett Belcher, Danielle Stevens, Emmanuel Alexander, who goes by Dub, which doesn't make any fucking sense.
Thank you, Dub.
Good for you, Dub.
We appreciate it.
Jeremy Sturk, Jessica Fabian, William Towns, Laura Souter. Yes. Ariana Folsom. I don't know. Google her. That's what what she wants you guys to do.
Well, Google away.
Google Ariana Folsom. Tarabusi Creek, they make those fucking amazing soaps.
Yes, they do. That's Sarah.
So much.
Sarah's been...
They're great people.
Yeah, she's always
really
getting
great.
soap, and they're awesome people. Thank you.
And then the lady that owns it got her Facebook hacked, and they sent me weird messages.
That sucks.
Kate Ives, James Aselta, Paul Ruest, of course.
Yeah,
Paul, you're terrific.
guy. Thank
you. Jake LeBeer, Richard Stevenson, Joel Bonner, Joaquim Stanford. He said his name is Joachim. I think he's fucking with me.
Maybe that's
like
how he
Joaquim.
wants to pronounce it. What do you know?
Mr. Stanford.
What do you know, Yimmy Whisman? Who knows? We could pronounce that.
Lincoln Weniger, Amanda McKelvey, William Mellinson, Brian. Oh, that's Bill Mellinson over there in
Bill.
Boston. Enjoy this show, Bill.
Yeah, thank you.
Bryant Toole, Jesse Hartman, Kate Myers, Catherine Collado, Jennifer Lamb, Tracy Selfridge, Sam Ballard, Doug Connell. Yes. Louise Rayfield, Amy Crawford. Yes. Chuck Cook, Laura Williams, Tina Leary. I think I said her. Thank you so much, Tina. Yeah, she donated on both.
Thank you, Tina.
Brian Ford, Philip Close, Denny Sheeran, or Deny. No, it's Denny, right? Not Deny. Denny?
Sure.
Probably.
Denny.
CJ Richards. Fiennes? No last name.
Fines?
Maybe that's the last name.
Hey.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Kyle Rund. Or Roud. Ruud. R-U-U-D.
That's a cool name.
That's right.
It's a cool last name.
Austin Bollinger. Oh, you know what? You said somebody rude in this show.
Roop.
And
you
I was
automatically...
like, that rings a bell.
I've seen that name
That's
before.
That's because of Kyle today.
I've written that name down. I thought of that too,
You're welcome,
and I didn't
Kyle.
say it. But when you said that name, I was like, is that where Jimmy got that before? But I didn't want to dig too deep.
Boy, am I dumb.
That's awesome.
Jason Lipton, Kristen Clementi, Leisha Sincox, Wendy Dostal. I don't know if that's a D or a P. I'm an idiot. Shannon Russell, Tim Wooten, Robert Wayne, Justin Passafaro.
Okay.
That's a tough last name.
It is.
Laura Williams, Samuel Miller, Christina Punt, Daniel Merrifield, Andrew Dupuis.
Cool.
Bobby with no last name. Ron Bosch, but it's Bobbie, so that's a check, right?
That's check. Usually. Thank you.
Unless the family was trying to be
you
fucking
don't know.
clever like mine.
Exactly.
Right?
Who knows? I would have think that you would be a woman.
I fucking hate my name. Steve McTeague, Colin Scott Bitter, Sarah Lewis, Jeremy Parenti, Callie Ander, Sean Tomlinson, Joseph Gillespie, Matthew Long Ryan, Katie Taylor, Brittany Newman, William. Oh, this one's fucking amazing. Wilhelm Rudolph Katzel.
Wow.
The third.
That's amazing.
Fucking yeah.
Wow, you should own a toy store. That sounds like...
There are three of those people.
Wow. Sweet. Right? That sounds like he owns a big, an eccentric toy store owner. He's like Willy Wonka with toys.
And it's the Katzel. K-A-T-Z-L. That's what they calls the store.
Yeah, Katzels.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Edgar Scott Robinson, Creativity Blender, and Amber Rachel. Thank you guys so much.
Did
I get Colin Mansfield? I did,
if
right?
not,
I
you
think
got
so.
him now.
There he is.
Thank you guys.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, folks, so much.
Truly, you guys are
Honestly,
fucking amazing.
Seriously, guys, you keep this train rolling, and your donations are so important to us, especially now if we have a studio to pay for and all that kind of thing, and you guys...
And plane tickets.
And electricity,
hotels.
and that's crazy. Thank you. Yeah, I rented a house that has we have our office in it now, and we have a studio that's separate, on purpose and all that shit, and you guys have helped us do that. So thank you so much for everything you do. Every penny counts. And what if anybody wanted to tell you that you count, Jimmy? How could they do that?
You can count me into Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And it's just Jimmy
Whisman Sucks.
Didn't I say that?
No, you said WSMAN. That's all you said.
What am I doing? WHISMAN Sucks.
There you go.
On Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
There
and
you
find
go.
me over on Facebook. Jimmy
Do
Whisman.
that. And you can find me at Jimmy P is Funny on the applicable formats.
Yep.
And if you want to find me on Facebook, copy and paste my last name from the show description, because you don't need to be a hero and you don't need to spend 20 minutes trying to figure it out.
Right.
Copy and paste, make it easy, and keep coming back, keep seeing us, tell your friends, get ready for the live shows.
Yes.
We're very excited.
Come see 'em.
That's right. And until next week, everybody.
Tell friends about the goddamn show.
It's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus